Don't
you got to
take
get a
out
better
Cowboy.
table myth. How the fuck are you boys?
Hey,
Real man dog shit.
Good.
How the hell have you guys been?
great man.
A
Doing
lot of
phenomenal.
things going on, but overall good.
We
Same,
got
a little
motherfuckers
busy.
getting bitch slapped. We got fucking broken legs. We got shit we can't even talk about this week. got
That'll be
birthdays
coming up
happening.
later.
We got
Yeah,
all kinds of crazy.
We're gonna
Oh, yeah.
tease that for like a month until Myth can talk about it, and you guys
Hey.
won't have any fucking idea. It'll be
Real
a fucking
quick.
blast.
Real quick, I might be tripping, but I think Myth's a good deal louder to me than you are, Zach. I didn't notice that at first.
I can
though.
turn down my gain.
I might be wrong. How does it
Test
look on the
1,
mix?
2. Is that better? Test 1, 2.
That sounds
You-
perfect
You're
to me.
probably good.
In
that
live
sounds good.
mixing.
Exactly. You know, we
My bad. I
actually
probably
fix
should have
our
said that
audio.
before if I'd noticed. But
All
yeah, I'm
good,
doing
all
great. Hey, also got a lot going on. I think we have a one of the hosts got something pretty big going on today, right?
Yeah, it's my birthday.
Hey,
Happy birthday, you fuck.
Happy birthday,
I'm
man.
not a teenager anymore, you know.
You're also not an
Congratulations.
adult.
Exactly. You know, I can die for this country, as Josh said, but I can't smoke a cigarette if I wanted to.
Nope. After you murder the enemy army, you're not allowed to sit down, drink a beer, and smoke a cigarette to relax.
No.
You know,
The
after
funny
fighting for your
thing
country.
is I did find out that when it was switched to 21, one of my friends was telling me they added an exception for people who were in the military who weren't 21 yet could show their military ID and get tobacco. But
Understandable.
no citizen could.
Weren't
I
18,
mean,
19,
that-
and 20-year-olds supposed to be like grandfathered into that shit too?
You would think that they would be, right?
I don't know.
Wasn't it like a birth date thing where it was like after this date, then you are no longer able to buy cigarettes until you're
I should
21?
know because I worked at a vape shop at the time that this all went down. But all I knew was that they were like, "Listen, it's 21 now," and I was like, "Okay." that was pretty much it for me.
If they don't look 40, you gotta ID them.
Yeah.
I got a big wide swath of these birthdays I can use for young people for the rest of my life. Like Myth, I get to be like, "Oh, it's your 20th birthday." I turned 20 in Lafayette County Detention Center over there at the county jail, about 2 blocks away from my mom's house. I remember I turned 20 there. Hell, I think I probably had a couple birthdays there.
Did your prison friends like whip anything up, anything special, like a prison cake of some sorts or
No,
some
man.
special food?
This old school cat. When I was at Butner, actually, yes. But when I was in county jail, actually, this old school dude that I actually called him Mr. Will. Everybody there called him Mr. Will because he was like, he wasn't even a thug. He was like, I believed him, straight up innocent. He was like the super nice, friendly old black dude that was like 65 years old and had a 6-pack. He was so cool, man. But yeah, he gave me like 5 whatchamacallits, dude. He had good money and he always had a bunch. He just walked up and I always played spades with him. He was my spades partner, you know, he was cool. A couple dudes, you know, hey man, here you go, give me a little butterscotch. You know, it's a little nice stuff. You know, that only happens if you're a fairly well-liked guy to a certain extent in there, I guess, you know, and me being a neutral party, you know, I wasn't ever here banging with the Aryans and shit when I was in there. So, you know, they're like, hey, it's goofy Josh's birthday, you know. When I was 21, though, on my 21st birthday, I was at Butner, North Carolina, the prison I was at with Bernie Madoff there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I went out to play in the band. And whenever I came back, these dudes had put together what's called a doo-wop, which is like a honey. Anybody doo-wop? Just for the viewers, I guess. Doo-wop is a honey bun that you smear peanut butter on. And then you put either like little bits of Hershey's bar broken up on top of it, or you crumble up M&Ms. And they put like 5 of them together and wrote "Happy Big Birthday, Josh, Big 21" on it. So yeah, man, there was some pretty cool, you know.
Was
Yeah,
it one
it's
of the
nice
iced
birthdays.
honey buns, or was it?
Yeah,
the
hell
uniced
yeah,
honey bun?
bro. Okay, listen. When you're making somebody a doo-wop, if you do it without icing on the honey bun, then they'll stab you. But if you do it with it, no icing
That's
is
a sign of
disrespect.
disrespect.
Yeah, that's disrespectful. You think I eat the uniced? You know I love frosting, fool. Oh shit,
Have you tried the $1 honey buns at fucking Walmart?
bro. If it's a honey bun, I probably have. Yes,
They're fucking good.
And almost every
baked
variety
goods
of honey
that
bun.
Walmart has are actually fucking good.
See, I'm more of
They're
a
not
cosmic brownie guy.
I'm so sick of cosmic brownies from getting the munchies and eating a whole box of them bitches at once a couple times, multiple different occasions. I did prefer them though.
It's gonna get worse too. Your kids are gonna get a little older. They're gonna want a snack cabinet, and you know the exact snacks you grab. You grab cosmic brownies, you grab nutty bars, and you grab oatmeal cream pies. And then you hope that you eat all the other stuff before the oatmeal cream pies, and that's what's up for your kids.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Lyndon likes it. Lyndon does love oatmeal cream pie. We only
Have
give her
you
little
guys-
pieces, of course, but
Have you guys freeze the nutty bars before? They're really good if you put them in the freezer.
no, but I bet that's amazing.
Oh yeah.
That sounds like it would be fire. Somebody was mentioning microwave honey buns in the chat, and also since we don't have microwaves in county, what you do is you You take 2 bottles, you take a bottle of water like this, you take another one. I don't have an extra one for once. And you shove them together like this to push the hot water button in the sink, because they're push button sinks, so you can't just turn the bitch on. This is to circumvent that. You cram 2 water bottles down in there, keep that hot water running, wrap your honey bun up in saran wrap, and just throw it under that hot water. Leave it there about 4 or 5 minutes. It's just about the exact same. It's nice and delicious, unless you didn't wrap the saran wrap right, in which case you just wasted 75 cents and a honey bun, which is good as gold in there,
Got a soggy honey bun.
Nobody wants a soggy warm honey. Exactly. Nobody likes soggy buns,
That's what I was going to say. Nobody wants soggy buns, except one of our favorite actors that slapped the shit out of somebody. He really likes soggy buns. So
yes.
Apparently so. I got some good hot takes on Twitter earlier about it. Somebody was adding me talking about how he had been a violent criminal and everybody patted him on the back when he came back, so it was obviously fake. And I was just like, there's so much wrong with this.
I don't think that's why it was fake. I'm like 50-50.
See, the slap looks so fake, but when he goes back and screams at him, that's the convincing part.
The fact that
the reason the slap looked fake is because he flinched into it. Because he didn't react like he was going to react, but it wasn't a hard slap. It could have been, but Chris ducked into it. You know what I'm saying? So when he came, he moved with it, so he didn't hit him that hard. But what were you saying, Zach, about fake?
Okay, so what I was saying was the fact that, number one, no security got up. The same thing happened when fucking Kanye got up on stage and took the mic from Taylor Swift. Nobody fucking did a damn thing. It just fucking happened.
They're celebrities.
Yeah. Yes, but
they do whatever they want.
There's supposed to be a shit ton of fucking security. A shit ton.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying. I'd like to see the security guard that's going to go up and push Will Smith down.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll never work again as long as he fucking lives, bro. I'm sorry, I disagree with you. If he went up and slapped some random dude standing in the crowd, or a random dude came up and tried to slap Chris Tucker or something like that, or Chris Rock, then yes, I could see that. Obviously, but nah, man. Will Smith, I don't see any security guard risking his livelihood to go push Will Smith down for coming at another celebrity that he's done movies with and they know each other. I don't see them getting in on that, man.
I do think it's real, in all honesty. I did think it was like 50-50 last night when we were showed it by one of our friends in the Discord, because I was like, that slap just looked like, if you just take the slap itself without anything afterwards,
it looks hella fake, hella corny.
It looks like the fakest fucking thing in the world. It looks like a pull punch.
Moved with it.
It looked like he swung, but opened his hand at like the last second, like some WWE shit, and just slapped the shit out of him.
The first time I saw it, I knew it was a bitch slap. Is what I thought immediately. I was like, that was a slap. That was a disrespect. You shut your fucking mouth slap, as they call it in prison. That's to put some baby powder on it,
But in all honesty, I think all 3 of us would not fucking take that slap. You go to fucking slap me, you're going to be on the fucking ground.
That's the thing. Nick held his composure so well. He never even touched his face after he was slapped. Like, no rubbing, no grabbing.
Nope, he told jokes.
He just pogged at him.
And basically, that's kind of what makes it so questionable, in all honesty.
I don't know, man. I would also like to point out that Chris Rock is over here hosting the Oscars. Millions of dollars probably on the line here. His reaction, like he said, this is the greatest night in the history of television. He knew right then and there, this is going to be talked about for the rest of eternity. As long as we're a species, this is going to be talked about now. And I'm not mad at his reaction. I'm not going to say I would have reacted the same way he did, but I'm not going to say it's fake because he didn't wild out on him and start swinging on him.
But do we think Will Smith can act that well after seeing him in the YouTube Rewind?
Good point. After that, we know he really. They obviously convinced him that all of his scripts were actually real life because he's not.
So yeah, this shit. I can't put two together to make this make sense. So I Googled and I watched videos and I tried to figure out what the fuck was going on and why this specific thing was so touchy.
Yeah, flying.
I don't know if you guys did this, but I'm just nerdy and kind of wanted to. So I guess Jada developed alopecia in the past couple of years, which is why she started wearing her hair even shorter than what she already has.
Yes.
After my hairline receding a little bit, I understand that being touchy. Like, I fucking get it. That's why I'm growing out my hair to begin with, which is why my hair is fucking long. So I fucking understand it. There is never going to be a time when somebody makes a joke about my hairline that I sit there and scowl at my significant other to go do something. because they're laughing at a joke somebody makes.
Well, I'd also like to
Yeah.
point this out because here's another thing with the laughter, right? And here's another thing where I think that this is where, in my opinion, and I'm not trying to say anything about wisdom or anything. This is from my experience from having gone to prison. I can say this because everybody's like, oh, he laughed and now he just had to go defend Jada. Okay. I've been to prison where dudes fight a lot. It's very, very common when you snap a dude and he's about to beat the shit out of you for him to go, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right, dog. Yeah, real funny. I swear to God. I mean, like, I understand that not everybody's been in situations like this, but that's very, very common for a dude to go, hold on, bro. Here I come. Yeah, here I come.
Completely common.
Very common. Yeah, it's super
but
common.
His reaction to it is what is kind of iffy. Is like he's sitting there looking dead at the camera, giggling. And then when he looks over at Jada, he giggles one last time and then sees that she's not getting it.
I definitely think
it would be, but also I'm not in his head. I'm just saying I think it's crazy that people try to assume what he went through his head.
Oh,
man.
of course.
For all I know, she spent a month and a half crying in the bathroom like, I can't go to the Oscars like this. Holy shit, my hair, and it really hit him deep. And his first reaction was laugh the shock off, and then he decided he wasn't. Like, I mean,
that genuinely just doesn't make sense. Is like she made a joke out of him at the beginning of COVID with the whole entanglement shit and coming out and like being open about how she was in an open relationship and fucking other dudes.
Okay.
And then how the fuck, in all honesty, how the fuck do you make somebody look like a joke so many times in their life that they have to apologize for the emotions that they have because you are fucking off?
Yeah.
Well, think about this as well, though. And this is another thing. It's not up to me, in my opinion, to tell other people what their love or their relationship is like.
Oh, definitely.
If for all we know, cool, she's the one who outed. For all we know, Will Smith done fucked 700. Will Smith might have crawled off Ariana Grande last night, dog. We don't fucking know. That's not our business. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's like, hey, he's a chump. She fucking cheated on him. And then he's going to stand up for her anyway. Bro, first off, we don't know about cheating. That's not our relationship. We don't know what boundaries and what rules they have with each other. And we also don't know what he's done. Just because he didn't put it out there doesn't mean that he didn't do anything. So that's between them and their interpersonal relationship. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, like, the reaction on that podcast of him like tearing up and shit like that shows that it's definitely at the minimum very, very unequal.
But
no doubt.
Honestly, it's weird how much
from our perspective. From our perspective,
yes.
It is.
It's weird how much people care about random people who, they were in some movies, so everybody cares about their lives and what they do.
It's funny
in their relationship. Like
in this city right now, like that just happened 400 times in the last 5 minutes, and nobody's talking about who just got slapped out here on Bourbon Street. Nobody cares about that.
All three of us are in the business in a small way. We're trying to make people care about us. So that way they care about our families. They care about the things that we do, the things that we want to do, and the aspirations we have. So that way we actually have a fan base that wants to listen to us and talk and get people on here that are interesting. So that way they can hear their stories as well. So like in the grand scheme of things, you have to actually look at it that way. Is like, hey, everybody that's trying to do this is trying to have a voice and a reason for people to come and fucking listen.
I don't think necessarily it has to go into such a private matter. Like the reason people like Will Smith is because of the entertainment he provides with his movies. Like it's different if you're like a home vlogger and your entertainment is your family in your life.
Oh, definitely.
I don't think it's necessarily the same.
I agree with both you guys. I think what Zach is saying is that particularly in our instance, for example, what we're trying to do in certain avenues of entertainment, it's about what you have to say, and the impact that you have and the eyes and, and the support and the togetherness and stuff. Whereas what you're saying, Myth, is also, I feel like people will take it to the next level just because they did the movies or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of the same thing, but it's almost like, we're over here trying to at least make entertainment. And I don't know, I guess art is art, as I guess at the end of the day. You know me, man. I'm always too middle of everything. I'm just going to end up saying art's art, I guess. But I don't know. I find podcasters much more interesting than a guy that did movies personally.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I kind of got blown away when the fish from Shark Tale slapped the shit out of the fucking zebra from Madagascar.
That was on my Twitter. On Twitter, I said, all right, I just heard about I was getting off Twitter for the night, but I heard about the Will Smith thing. Who's got the memes? And one of them was like the beef of the century.
I didn't even get that from a meme. I fucking said that last night after I saw it. I said, I honestly don't even remember who the fuck it is. I can only imagine his voice as Marty from fucking Madagascar. And I called him
I knew you were
every
gonna say
single
Marty.
short black comedian, and I fucked up so many times. I
Now
called
you
him
won't-
Kevin Hart last night. I called
Oh,
him
no.
Kevin Smith. I fucked
Kevin
up
Smith
really
is
bad.
white.
I don't even know who Kevin Smith is.
What the fuck? It's Silent Bob, dude. Kevin Smith, man. Kevin Smith.
Oh my God.
Damn.
It is what it is. In the grand scheme of things, Marty from Madagascar got the shit slapped out of him. And it's fucking bad.
It was funny at the end of the day, yeah. But again, on a totally serious note, from like a consumer entertainment American perspective, that shit was gold, bro. He's right, man. That's American TV history for all time right there. Like from like a guy that tries to be above and wiser nowadays than I was when I was younger, I will say that Chris handled himself great. I don't know what was going through Will's head, and I hope that they come to a peaceful resolution and work forward as brothers. But damn, at least we got that clip. At least we got the clip for now. Hey, I hope they work it out for a positive ending. But in the meantime, we got the clip. All right. So
yeah, he came out and apologized literally today.
did he really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. 90% of the stuff that I learn about what's going on in the world, viewers, comes from Zach. Just so y'all know.
He should have doubled down and
One day he'll
challenged
just
him to a boxing fight.
That's what I was hoping was going to happen. Like, fuck, man. Like,
Yeah, you know, that's
if
the
I can
thing is
find
that I don't know. I was expecting him to either raise hell afterwards and there to be further drama after that, or for him to, I don't know. I guess basically what I'm saying is anything could have happened. Because my other thing was going to be that he would be the bigger man about it and be like, yo, okay. I mean, I guess I touched a soft spot. I would also like to say, I think Chris delivered that joke very sensitively. If you watch that clip,
Yeah.
I think he knew that was a hot spot. Can you tell how touchy he was with it? Like he was like, I love you, but G.I. Jane can't wait. And then he kind of brushed it off and was like, just kidding. You know, I think it was pretty clear. They both apologized. See, that's what I like to see right there, man. That's what I like to see. You can act like an ass, just make up afterwards. All right. Everybody.
In the grand scheme of things, like they're fucking comedians and entertainers. Like if
That's
you
the
can't
most
make
important
fucking
part.
jokes and understand that people are going to fucking make jokes about things that are touchy, like fucking understand and just accept it. Because in the grand scheme of things, if you don't understand that somebody's a fucking comedian and you fucking hit them because of their fucking joke, it's ridiculous. Like what happens if there was two women that fought last night because what's her face? Amy Schumer was one of those. What happens if she makes an off-color joke and some chick goes up there and beats the shit out of her?
Oh, well, don't you mean what happens if she steals someone's joke again and then, somebody gets tilted?
Takes a Louis C.K. joke.
She's done it several times.
I'm just going to jump on this train real quick. After everything that I said, the ultimate point at the end of the day, I'm 100% on board with Zach. That shit was comedy, bro, and you got to have thick skin. If you're going to put yourself on a pedestal, bro, you got to be ready for the arrows that are shooting up there. I'm just saying. Straight up 1 billion%. I get that Will Smith doesn't do roasting stuff. He's the clean guy and the Fresh Prince and all that. And so, maybe he thought he was safe from it or whatever. Bro, you're famous. You're famous. You're open to it. It is what it is. And at the end of the day, you got to have a sense. I'm with Zach on that one. That was comedy, and it's his fucking right to say it. Like
in the grand scheme of things, we all sit in Discord calls pretty much every single fucking night. And if we're not sitting there roasting each other or playing games with each other, like that's a nightly fucking thing.
Yeah.
But also there's a double standard here. Like imagine if somebody was at a comedy club and the comedian made a joke about somebody's wife. They got heated like Will Smith, went up and smacked the comedian. They're getting arrested right there, going to jail for assault.
Yep.
He went and sat back down.
Apparently, Chris refused to press charges. If he would have pressed charges, he would have got arrested.
Yeah.
They were also questioning throwing him out as well.
Okay. He won an award, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't he finally win an Oscar? He finally won an Oscar, didn't he? That's crazy, man. No.
he won an Oscar for a movie I've never even fucking heard of. So.
What movie is that?
Do you know the name?
It was like King Richard or something like that.
Never heard of it.
No.
Was Denzel on the docket for that Oscar by chance?
Did Will Smith play it?
This is the best. We should be able to name this, but instead all we know is Richard. Shit. King Richard. Okay.
I was right.
You nailed it the first time.
Armed with a clear vision and a brazen 78-page plan. That's how you know it's a good plan, because at least it's not 79 pages. Richard Williams is determined to write his two daughters, Venus and Serena, into history. Tennis courts in Compton, California, Richard shapes the girls' unyielding commitment and keen intuition. So
I remember that now. You're right. Yeah, he played Venus and Serena's dad. Yeah. I remember that. That was this within the past year?
It came
Damn,
out
that seems like it was a long time ago.
2021.
Yeah.
What
Damn.
the fuck?
And this movie fucking flopped. Holy shit.
Did it
There's
really?
no fucking reason that this fucking won anything. Its budget was $50 million. We know that Will Smith was probably paid at least 25 of that.
Probably.
Box office, $38.1 million.
Rip, dude.
How the fuck does that win anything?
Venus and Serena aren't, they're not as popular as they thought. And also keep in mind, Zach, that he won an Oscar. What that means is he was the best actor out of that category. That doesn't mean good. It's like winning the Special Olympics sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like you're the best out of it, I'm just kidding.
Ugh.
For real, though, but for real, some movies have flopped horribly and been some of the greatest acting in history. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, hot take here, I think Edward Scissorhands. I know Johnny Depp's a big hot take now, but I think he's done some of the greatest acting in the history of film.
Oh, I don't think he's as big of a
Personally.
hot take as like so many people would expect him to be. In that situation, she fucking cut off his finger. She's been removed from all the fucking DC movies and everything else. I think in the grand scheme of things, that bitch got what the fuck was coming. She's fucking gone from Hollywood now because of shit she fucked up and did.
It's true. Actions have consequences. No matter how famous you are, at some point you can't escape them.
Hopefully. I like to think so.
Unless you're a politician, then you just pay. But
Politicians get off the hook pretty easily. I can tell you this: drug addicts don't. if you got a drug history, stay out of the way of the cops.
Again, unless they're in Congress and sniffing coke and drinking alcohol.
Again, yes. If any congressmen are listening right now, that doesn't apply to you, but everybody else that has a drug problem, steer clear of the popo. All right.
Yeah, the shit that's going on in Hollywood right now is fucking insane. Absolutely fucking insane.
That's just a place that I just don't want to go, man. Like, I don't care really how far my career went. I wouldn't want to live in LA. Like, California's cool, there's other places. Just LA just seems
it's completely unnecessary now.
weird vibes to me.
Nah,
if
I was
true,
gonna
man.
live anywhere, it'd be fucking Texas. In all honesty.
Yeah, Texas is starting to pop off like LA did back in the day. Like
I wanted to go to Austin
everything
for a
with
while.
a lot of the comedian scene moving down there, with Joe Rogan building a new comedy studio down there. And like even like gambling is becoming really big down there. Their Texas Hold'em tables are giant. There's a lot.
Well,
of,
you can only
like,
play
new
Texas
incoming
Hold'em in Texas.
Yes.
My original plan before I met my wife and everything when I was getting out of prison the first time was to go to Austin. That's where I really wanted to go. To pursue music was the plan, but I ended up pursuing drugs and going back to prison, and then thankfully fell in love. And now that's not really the thing anymore. But yeah, I was aiming towards Austin. I love it here in New Orleans too, but I kind of want to move out of the inner city.
You
Not as
also
much of
skipped
an
out
inner
on the
city as I
time that
thought.
you went to England so that way you could pick up your English accent.
Right. Yeah, I studied abroad. Studied abroad.
I don't even know if they're one of the places that will accept you now, but like
visiting visas, the UK. Yes, I can visit the UK. I cannot live or work there, but I can visit. They'll take my tourist money, but they won't let me live there. I can't stay. They're cool with that. There's a lot of countries that'll take it. Some countries straight up hard no. For example, Canada. Cannot enter Canada.
Really?
Nope.
At all?
Can't go to Canada.
Huh.
Nope. American felon? No. Not allowed. Tokyo, or not Tokyo, I mean Japan? Nope. Cannot enter. I want to say even maybe Sweden, like one or all of like the Scandinavian countries, which is crazy because they've got like the best fucking system in the world for law, like punishment, other than the fact that they have a maximum sentence. That's kind of controversial.
It might be Norway. They have pretty strict immigration laws.
Maybe that's what it is then, yeah. But some places I'm like straight up not even allowed to visit. They're just like, no. Canada, for example, they will not let me cross the border. I'm not allowed.
It's crazy.
It is what it is. I mean,
Can't go
hopefully
visit
eventually
America.
I'll get the, one day maybe if I sit down long enough and write a book, I can make enough money to hire me some good lawyers and, I won't be a felon. We'll go chill in Canada. But for now, it's a big fat thumbs down.
Hard to
exactly.
I do believe that Australia will let me in for visit, not work, or to live. Considering that Australia was founded as a prison colony, I would most certainly hope that they would be okay with felons coming over.
I made jokes on video games. Like, fucking hell.
They should at least have context. Come on, Canada. Get it the fucking together, bro. Take some
Come on,
context.
man.
They're going to be like, okay, fine. We'll review it on a case-by-case basis. All right, Josh Palaut, domestic terrorist. Yeah. Well, hold on now. Hold on. It says domestic. That means America versus America. All right. So let me in. Okay.
Exactly. I only meant fucking the United States. Like, fucking come on.
Yeah.
Man.
It was domestic terrorism. So it didn't say anything about Canada. Come on, guys. Shit. I don't see this going too well.
No, probably
You want to know
not.
something funny? Is that like whenever I was a real wild ass teenager and I was, doing lots of drugs and stuff, I used to have this quarter fantasy in the back of my mind that I wanted to do, where I was like, you know what? I bet it'd be easy to do this. I bet you could and this is going to sound so crazy because I'm like fucking 12 years older now, but this is what a drug addict teenager. I started working on Japanese, right? I've never watched anime really. I liked like Dragon Ball and stuff. I started learning Japanese because I was like, what if an American immigrated to Japan and worked their way up through the political ranks and became a dictator and started World War III by saying this huge thing about how America still makes fun of Hiroshima. And I wanted to go over there and push all these buttons and move to Japan and be like, I'm an American here to tell you that America hates Japan and they're going to declare war and they still laugh at Hiroshima and Nagasaki and just get the straight fucking just die hard fired up and then just lead a convoy against America. I should have just made a movie instead probably. Now somebody's going to steal it, but those were my goals before prison. What did you guys want to do when you grew up? I wanted to be an American Japanese dictator and go to war against America. That was my aspiration.
I'm not. Oh, fuck. I can't make that joke. Damn it, Mitch.
Please don't. Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
Not yet. Don't make that joke yet.
Well, I've never been to prison, so I guess I haven't grown up yet. I'll reword the joke. So I don't know what it's going to be like to grow up because I haven't been there yet.
Hasn't been to the big house, so
I haven't been to a fully cinder blocked building with metal bars on the windows.
It doesn't take
my
that
school
to grow
was
up.
like that.
It doesn't take that to grow up. It takes knuckleheads that to grow up sometimes. All right. It doesn't. That's what I personally needed.
Zach just had to have 3 kids.
Yeah, I just had to have 3 kids to grow up.
I was the RuneScape felon. You popped out babies, man. We both got life experience in different ways, Wisdom comes from all sources, as they say.
On a serious note, though, when I was in high school, I was super big into politics. I was head admin for Political Discord. I was doing political journalism. I went to the George Floyd riots, a bunch of riots in Chicago. I was doing a lot of political filming and things of that nature. But then I realized that none of that matters and nothing's ever going to change. So
let's just laugh at it.
Yeah.
All right. We might as well just be cynics. I mean,
I did everything Josh did except go to jail and drugs.
And the important parts, but other than that,
I played a lot of video games, had sex.
He can't confirm. He definitely had sex. You had kids way before I did, not just in age, but also just straight up time wise. How old's your oldest now? I mean,
she's turning 11.
Yeah, see? Yeah, my oldest is not quite 2 yet. She just figured out her colors, though, so we're off to a good start.
You're getting into the terrible twos. That explains everything.
They already started.
Before you went to jail.
Yeah. Nah, you 11 yeah, you did. Hell, it hadn't even been 10 years since I got arrested yet. October will be 10 years. It was October 2012.
In his own personal prison.
Yeah, you already had a baby on the way before I even got locked up. So, see?
I already had the wisdom inside my bedroom. It just wasn't for me. It was really cute, though. We would play music. She would sit there and hold on to the crib and start headbanging. Hell
yeah. You're like, that's definitely my baby. All right.
Play some Eminem, and she's sitting there just headbanging to it.
Hush, little baby, hilarious. Don't you cry. Lena likes it when I play guitar for her. But for some reason, this is something I never knew until I had kids. I always assumed that kid music and baby music was just a big multi-billion-dollar gimmick.
Oh, it really is.
Bro, my daughter doesn't like music other than kid music hardly. I mean, she'll listen to it or not or something. But as far as chill out, she'll stop crying or whatever. Kids music does it. If we're playing our music, we're playing pop punk in the car, she'll be screaming and crying, and then we put on fucking super simple songs, and they're like A, B, C, D, and she's like,
it's
what the fuck,
and how calm the music is.
Yeah.
So I mean, even when we play Beatles and stuff, relaxing, we'll play some good chill Beatles, but it just nothing quite, unless they have a tambourine and a goofy fucking trombone in the background and somebody singing like this, then she just I don't get it.
I was listening to the new MGK album because I was checking it out.
Oh God!
And I was giving the baby a shower. She put her hands on the shower and started dancing. It was fucking the most adorable thing in the fucking world. That's
pretty funny. I probably have to play MGK after that.
Yeah.
She was like, I like that. That's got a good groove to it.
Exactly. It's fucking adorable.
I don't get it,
Fucking
man.
hell.
She just doesn't respond the same. She likes other music, but like the music that'll calm her down and make her stop crying, and like put her in the happy place is straight up goof music. I don't know what it is,
Oh, yeah.
man.
Well, my
Bounce
daughter,
Patrol.
my oldest came down. She's like, me and my wife were sitting there at the table talking, and she's like, Dad, what did I watch when I was little? Because I can't stand all these little kid movies anymore. And we put on like Disney movies and stuff like that because the
Yeah.
oldest shares a room with the baby. She's like, I'm so sick and tired of watching Frozen and all this shit. Like, what did I watch when I was a kid? I was like, well, you can't watch and I can't watch the things that I watched with you because they're completely inappropriate for you now. And she's like, what did you watch? So me and my wife just started listing off the fucking things that we watched. We're like, we watched all of Family Guy.
Oh yeah.
all of American Dad, all of the Cleveland Show. You watched Yu-Gi-Oh, you watched Pokemon, you watched Digimon, and guess what? Half of those you can't watch.
I would also like to point out, though, that while you mentioned legendary adult-oriented cartoons, right? Those are classics, of course, but also keep in mind that, no offense, Myth, I remember that you vaguely remember these, but cartoons like Courage the Cowardly Dog, that shit doesn't fly anymore, bro. You can't do that anymore. That was a kid's cartoon. That was like
a crazy show.
Anymore. I lost sleep over Courage the Cowardly Dog, bro. That motherfucking King Ramses Return to Slab or Suffer the Curse. I literally cried like a bitch for like a week, bro, over that show. And it was
you want to know what show fucked me up?
What
fucking show fucked me up bad?
Powerpuff Girls.
Was fucking Real Monsters.
I didn't like that show, bro. I didn't like it. It's the only classic Nicktoon I don't like. I didn't watch it back then. I honestly didn't. Why'd it fuck you up? Because the dude's holding his eyeballs and shit?
No, the fucking umbrella one really fucked me up one night. I was like 6. And I'm sitting there.
The umbrella
Real
one?
Monsters, come on. And this fucking no, I hate snakes. Like absolutely fucking.
That's what she was, right? As a snake?
Yeah.
Yeah. But she looked like an umbrella.
Mimic. Yeah. She's a
yeah, that's
mimic.
what it was. She could kind of shapeshift. That's right.
Yeah. And it's like the episode in the intro where somebody grabs the fucking umbrella out of the damn umbrella caddy and it turns to a fucking snake. And
oh, I remember that. And he's like, ah! Yeah.
I'm like, oh
God.
Nope. This is going
umbrellas.
off. I'm done.
No more umbrellas for Zach ever.
Yeah, I don't remember that show. Definitely.
I think it had a very brief run.
Do you guys I only know of this because of my niece, but she's obsessed with Coco Melon. You heard of that?
Oh, I don't. It may make me sound like a douchebag, but I don't let my kids watch stupid shit.
We did until quite recently. We actually just found out about that, Zach. Yeah, don't let your kids watch Coco Melon. It's way too stimulating. It results in extreme bad behavior issues, and you will notice the difference if you've been having your kids sitting there watching Coco Melon. Put on like Trash Truck Jr. or Blue's Clues or something. You will notice a behavior improvement. I'm telling you, it's too much stimulation. Coco Melon's bad.
That's how you end up with Zach taking Adderall all day.
Yes. Also, don't let them watch YouTube videos. Sounds fucking retarded, but it shortens their attention span.
When I do, it's always like the same stuff she watches, but like hour compilation, like Peppa Pig,
full
hour and a half. Yeah,
full episodes. That's all.
No 2 minute, 3 minute burst of attention here. No. But yeah, I thought the Coco Melon thing was just PewDiePie. I thought that's why everybody talks shit about Coco Melon was because PewDiePie has that big thing with, oh, fuck Coco Melon, haha, And I was like, and then a few weeks ago, Karis was watching something about it, and she's like, oh my God, you're not even supposed to let your kids watch Coco Melon. Like, this stuff is horrible for them. It doesn't teach them anything, and it's confusing messages and bright, overstimulating, and it's like some
some
country making $1 billion. It's a what?
Throw on some classic Dora the Explorer, and that's how you get good kids.
Yeah. I watched Dora Explorer as a kid.
We could probably do Dora. I'd be down with that. I need
Did
to start teaching her Spanish.
Actually is a fucking computer game, which is why she talks to the screen and breaks the fourth wall.
Really?
That's what the show was supposed to be, was a computer game, with the little mouse and everything. Because my little brother and I kept trying to find online if we could sign up to be the mouse, and we were going to fuck with it, but then we realized that, it's a computer game, but there's not really some kid out there. But it is a computer game. I remember the mouse comes on the screen and clicks, and she's like, say backpack, and spins around, you click it. I learned a little basic Spanish there that helped me a lot later down the line.
Mm-hmm.
I only got one sentence of Spanish left, and I aced all my Spanish classes, and I have all I need.
What you got?
Cerveza, por favor.
Give me a beer, please. All you need, huh?
Yep, that's all I need.
I gotta say, yo no bebo cerveza. I don't drink beer, is what I gotta say. I don't take beer.
I don't drink beer either, but
Pero
if I'm
yo
in
fumo
Mexico,
mota.
I can't drink water, so we're good.
Si tienes mota, yo fumo mota. Tu tienes mota. Get some pot. I don't drink beer though. Is what I could say. We can do all that. Yeah, don't let your kids watch Coco Melon. For real though, if anybody, I don't know how many. I know Haley and David got kids. I don't even know if they're in the chat right now, but don't let your kids watch it. I thought it was just a meme. It's not just a meme. It's bad for your kids. Let them watch educational things. I like Fedora. I hated Caillou. Caillou was a meme to me from the jump. Myth, do you remember Caillou?
I never really watched it, but I
you seen the
remember it being
memes?
around. Yeah.
So I saw Caillou because I had a little sister too, but I have a nice little joke here. I also dealt with Caillou in my older life when I was
great.
watching baseball. This guy right here, tell me this motherfucker doesn't look exactly like fucking Caillou. Come on, go. Fuck it. Oh, my PC fucking froze. Yep. This is a new fucking PC too, people.
Hey,
What the fuck?
real men talk
As
shit,
long as he
ladies and
doesn't
gentlemen.
blue screen.
I'm still here.
You guys
My
remember
Google
that
Chrome
picture?
is not responding, but
In case you forget what podcast, it's Real Men Talk Shit. We normally have an overlay here, but
No, what?
it's not working right now. Somebody's got hot pants in the chat.
no, I removed it to show a picture, but
I knew what you were doing. It just kind of clusterfucked at the end, didn't it? New PC.
Yep. Fucking hell. I'm still here though. What the fuck?
Like as
I
long
guess
as you're
just
alive.
fill the void until
Until the computer comes back.
yeah, until it decides to come back. Fuck my life.
Did
I was
Did
gonna
you
say
see a
that-
motherfucker that looked like Caillou? Is that what it was?
Yeah, so Google Brett Gardner. He's a member of the New York Yankees. and
Attention,
he looks
everybody.
exactly like fucking Caillou.
Google Brett Gardner. It says Brett Gardner Caillou. Holy shit, it's Caillou. Oh my god.
If
That
you
poor
click share at the
bastard.
bottom of the screen, you can actually share it. You click share and
my
then
God.
Chrome tab, and then it allows you to show it.
Share and then Chrome tab. How the fuck? Okay, share and then
Share screen.
Chrome tab.
Yep, and then click the Chrome tab that you have Mr. Caillou up on.
I'm so confused. I don't know how to do this stuff, dog. I'll leave it to Myth.
Oh, I'm on.
I
a
don't think he
laptop.
uses
Okay.
Google Chrome.
No.
Also, you're frozen, Zach.
Uh-oh. Did you ever watch Arthur?
Yeah, I watched Arthur actually.
Arthur was such a good show.
I actually really
remember that
enjoyed
one
Arthur.
being one
There
of
were
my
there
favorites.
were
Yeah.
sorry for stuttering. I wasn't trying to cut you off.
Oh, you're good.
There were actually a few moments of that show that I still remember to this day as being so fucking funny. What up, Zach? That it
I'm
like
back.
it had a formative, like I could see my little shithead sense of humor already because I specifically remember me and my little brother dying laughing. There was an episode where they were outside and they had a muffin. The twins, you remember Arthur had those little twin bear friends or whatever, and they had a muffin. And they went to throw it up through the damn window to DW or something, and it just smashed all over the window. And he goes, "I thought it was open," and I just died laughing. There's Caillou. Whoops, wrong way.
Oh, God. He's a 5-head, bro. He might even be a 6-head.
That might be
Tell
an
me that's
11
not
head.
Caillou right there.
That's Caillou if he did some roids and had anger problems and decided to play ball for New York, I guess. You know,
One of the worst hitters there fucking is. He averaged 167 in the major leagues.
Oh my God.
wow. He looks like he averaged 167 in the major leagues. Somebody asked a minute ago about Blippy, by the way. I don't see any problem with Blippy. My daughter's learned a lot of new words lately, and her vocabulary's exploded, even though she's like 22 months old. And it's been since she started watching Blippy that she really learned a lot of those words. So Blippy's kind of aggravating to me, but Lennon likes it. It keeps her calm, and she learns a lot of words. Zach, have you seen Blippy? You know about Blippy?
Nope, I have not seen Blippy.
It's not bad. It's just a really cartoony guy walking around naming fucking everything. Now we're going to go over here. Look, a plate. Wow, it's a blue plate. Oh, is this a slide? I mean, it's just pretty much that, but like she's actually learning words and it keeps her entertained. So,
Do they have any like common bilingual shows? That seems like a really good idea. Just to
Dora
start
the
kids off.
Explorer.
Dora would probably be what I would
Well,
start
yeah,
with.
Dora. Yeah,
That'd probably
but
be a good
there's no
start.
new ones, are there? They haven't
Diego.
really made anything like
Diego, her cousin.
Her cousin Diego.
that. Oh yeah.
The thing is that it's so like YouTube and Netflix oriented now that I would
Mhm.
like personally have to search a little bit more, I would imagine. But I would love to do that personally. I mean, I already know that I should be speaking at least a little Spanish around her just to give her a start. She'll soak it up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to teach her to count to 3. She's better with colors, but she also thinks that blue. She can't say purple yet. She thinks it's all blue. We're working on it. Every time you look at purple, she's like blue. Damn it. No, there's
Purple.
finesse. It's purple. It's
My
a little
daughter-
different.
My daughter is so fucking weird. So she'll say full sentences out of the fucking blue
Hmm.
and then not say them for the next 3 fucking months.
Oh wow.
Just
Like
keep it
the
in
other
wallet.
like the other day, she said, "Daddy, I'm hungry." And I'm like, "Okay, what do you want?" Dad. What are you doing? Finish your sentence.
Yep.
What do you want?
Lennon's huge on the repetitive dada mamas right now. It is just like the Family Guy joke. My God.
Yep.
I mean, it is no. She'd come up, dada, dad. Like, Lennon, what? Oh my God. It gives you such bad anxiety, dude. They're just sitting here in your ear saying your name over and over and over. Dada. Like, I love you. Chill.
You want to know
my
how to
cookie,
teach them
shut up.
not to do that shit? Do it back to them. They get really, really, really frustrated.
All right.
He's like, all right, I'm gonna try this.
Like, if they hurt themselves, do not act like you're surprised.
No, we never do that. We've been doing that the whole time. If you don't react like they got hurt, they 99%
Then
of the
don't
time
give a
cry.
fuck.
Yep. But you can sit there and like you can go and they'll be like and just panic. But like today I saw my daughter fall down 2 stairs and I kind of half caught her, but she thumped pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, because she likes to put on shoes. She's obsessed with shoes, and she puts on daddy and mom's shoes and just marches around, tries to climb stairs in them. But she flopped. She took a good little spill, and I laughed and I picked her up and clapped. That's what we've been doing pretty much her whole life. When she falls and eats shit, we just clap and like, yay! And she's like, hey! And then she'll just go about her business. So, all right, I'm gonna try that. Next time she hits me with that dada, I'm gonna tell Karis about that. We're gonna hit her with that Lennon.
Or like, if they scream like the obnoxious fucking, I'm gonna throw a hissy fit because I feel like it. Throw one back, and they get really fucking confused.
I have seen Karis cry back in Lennon's face before and make her stop crying when she was unreasonable crying for way too long. We knew she had a dry diaper. She was not hungry. She was just being a heifer. I've seen Karis just be like, like not loud or anything, but and Lennon will be like, damn, does it sound like that?
They'll
Is that what
just
I
give you
fucking
the
sound
weirdest
like?
fucking confused look ever. And they'll just be like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?"
Yeah, they're like, this is my job. What the hell? It's like people say in jail. I don't know if they say this on the street or not, but when somebody complains, they'll say, all that crying, what the baby gonna do? In this case, like literally, the baby's like, all that crying, what am I supposed to do? What the hell am I gonna do? Y'all already over here crying and whining about everything. We also just cut her pacifier, by the way. We had no idea we were supposed to have stopped a long time ago with the pappy. She's 20 months old or so, you know, and yeah, we were supposed to stop 22 months. We were supposed to stop a while ago with the pappy. So we were just like, you know what? We kept this going a little too long and we just cut the tip off of it. And one of her favorite words and favorite objects is ball. It's her first word was ball. She loves soccer balls and footballs and pretty much anything, you know? And I guess in her mind, I never thought about this, but the end of a pacifier is a ball to her. I never thought about it because we got the straight kind, you know, the round with the round on the end. So we cut it, we handed it to her, and she's like, oh no, ball. And so she is way too smart. She took one look at it and immediately noticed it was wrong. And now we're having a real tough time. And she calls it ball. She just looks at it and she's like, ball. Oh no, dad, the ball. And I'm like, you have too good of a vocabulary. If your kids can complain about the pacifier, you waited too long. Shit. Don't wait till they can complain about it.
My mom had an even worse time because my sister was a thumb sucker. So she tried to come up with like really, really fucked up things to kind of like imprint really quick.
Hot sauce.
Like, don't fucking do this. The one time that my mom told me that she was going to do something, she didn't end up doing it. My sister was like 8. And she told her that she was going to turn her thumb green when she was sucking on it. She didn't end up doing it, but I really kind of wish she fucking did because it would have been hilarious.
It probably would have at least taught her a lesson, if nothing else.
Exactly.
Lennon hasn't sucked her thumb yet that I've seen. She did try to bring a toy bottle with her to bed earlier that kind of is shaped like a pappy, and she was chewing on it. I was like, yeah, nice try. She kind of smuggled it and held it under the blanket when I was bringing her to bed, and then she was just like, no. And I was like, I see you trying to cheat. We're trying to save ourselves some braces money. No, ma'am. Yeah. Took that away quick. Oh, Zach, don't show me the Dr. Pepper. Oh, no. Man, I haven't had soda.
Haven't been drinking soda?
I've been drinking just water and Powerade for a couple of weeks. Sorry. I just had a little bit of a craving there.
That's okay. My monster is getting very, very close to tasting normal again. I fucking hate COVID. Fuck COVID.
Oh, you still don't have your taste, really?
It's not all the way back yet?
It's only Monster, and it tastes like fucking garbage. but it's slowly coming back. Every time I drink Monster, it's kind of getting a little bit better.
Well, that's good. It's like your taste buds are awakening to it again. They're like, oh yeah, we remember this. I wouldn't be surprised if some of that is your brain legit. Like, there's obviously no way for us to ever test that or know. But I seriously
definitely
wouldn't be surprised if part of the taste that you're getting back is memory and like the scent of it and shit.
Because like I have rock stars in the cabinet too, and I drank a fucking fruit punch rock star, and that tasted completely normal.
Just like the same as it always does for you.
Yeah, it just tasted completely normal.
Weird.
It was fucking weird. It's literally only green Monster.
That's that's weird.
The one that you want, the one you want to taste.
Yeah, the daily.
See, you got to switch to Red Bull. It's better, anyways.
No, Red Bull's fucking disgusting.
I love Red Bull.
Bull's so good.
Red Bull, for my flavor, is my favorite energy drink.
Oh,
For
yeah.
flavor.
I had
For
a Red
flavor.
Bull
For price,
last
I
night,
normally
and I
just
was
go
like,
with Monster.
I forgot how good these taste.
They're
For
delicious,
flavor,
bro.
I go to Bang every time.
Man, Bang
Bang's okay.
Bang has all right flavor, bro. And this is not a complaint. This is an awareness that I've got. That shit's got an extra kick to it. There's something in that flavor, bro. That's that. That motherfucking, like when you take a shot of whiskey almost, and the
Those
shit hits your stomach and give you that,
and beta
give you that little
alanine.
tweak.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got something to it, bro. Because that Bang shit'll have you feel like you got a buzz, man. I'm telling you.
Bangs also have way more caffeine than normal energy drinks, don't they?
Them
they
bitches
have
make me go cornholio
300
every time.
milligrams.
Yeah,
Is that what? How much?
300 milligrams.
300 in a Bang? That's probably what it is. I wasn't tasting anything. It was that electricity going into my bloodstream. That's probably what the fuck it was, dude. Holy shit. Yeah, I bought a few of those for a 24-hour stream one time. And, I drink them in 8-hour intervals. I'll drink them like, I'll drink one when I'm starting to stream, then I'll drink one in 8 hours, then I'll drink one in 8 hours, then I go to sleep, at the end of that last 8 hours. And, man, I'm telling you, 8 hours in, I was like, cool. I'm just drinking the first one because I drank like a Mountain Dew or something. I get that first Bang, and like halfway through it, I was like, I need TP for my bunghole. Like, them things are like I seriously felt like I had a buzz. Like I was on probation. Like, what the fuck is in this thing? Is this alcoholic? That's how cranked I got off of that motherfucker. And I was drinking 5 Mountain Dews a day, so that's almost the same amount.
There's 2 flavors of Bangs that are really fucking great. The Skittles one and Rainbow Unicorn.
I knew you were going to say Rainbow Unicorn. That shit tasted like liquid cotton candy to me. I did not like it. It was too sugary for me.
That shit was
all the Bangs
Everybody
are
else
really
likes it.
sugary, of course.
They do get that super sugar into every single flavor that I tried was way too sugar. That's kind of why I stopped drinking them though. I was like, dude, if I'm getting this cranked off of this thing, this cannot be good.
It's so much caffeine.
So much at one time. Like I was drinking 4 to 6 Mountain Dews a day. That's the same amount, but that's stretched across 10 to 12 hours. Man, I drank that Bang, and I'm telling you, I was like on cloud 9 for 2 hours, and then the rest 6 hours until the next energy drink, I was dead. I crashed so hard from it, dude. I was sitting there streaming at like 3:30 in the morning, like.
I don't crash from caffeine at all, ever.
It doesn't make me tired because caffeine can make me tired. If I drink a lot of caffeine, a lot of times it'll actually help me sleep, believe it or not, depending on the certain circumstances. But when I'm trying to do a stream, I crash hard from caffeine because I guess because it's so much more of what's keeping me going than I realize than it is on a day-to-day basis, maybe. But during streams, I notice crashes, but never in day-to-day life.
Oh,
When I'm streaming, though, I'm
you
like,
can
oh my
actually
God,
use
I'm
caffeine to treat fucking ADHD as well.
I remember you telling me about that the other day, and I drank some, or I didn't drink it. I took a couple of my caffeine mints, started doing a lot better. I was like, okay, cool. Get back into focus. So I appreciate that. I'd almost forgotten for a minute. I was like, I do need some kind of stimulant.
Before I started taking Adderall for my ADHD, that's diagnosed and prescribed. Do not take medication that's not prescribed to you. Don't be a fucking scumbag. I was taking 650 milligrams of just pill caffeine.
Yeah.
Was that just so that you would circumvent the sugar of the drinking it? So you could get that much?
Just so that way I could actually take that much at one time.
Right.
And make sure that I was able to think and be okay, coherent, and actually put sentences and thoughts together, which,
can be a struggle.
Yeah. Caffeine pills are nice, especially if you're on a diet or something, don't want to drink calories or sugar, things like that. I guess you can always switch to tea, which isn't as bad for you as like coffee or energy drinks. But caffeine pills are super inexpensive. They're cheap. You get a lot of them, and you can take just the right amount that you need. I
forgot about those. Zach mentioned them to me recently. So
yeah, you can get them in Walmart for like $2-3 for like 90 of them.
Oh yeah, they're super.
My bad. How much?
Like
90
$2
for
or
how much?
$3 for like 90 of them.
Yeah, it's really
for
cheap.
$2 or $3.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's like
you
200
said that last time
milligrams
when I
a
was
pill
selling.
or 100 milligrams,
I
whatever
don't
you
even need
get.
to fuck
Yeah,
with
mine
that.
were
That's
200
crack.
each.
Yeah.
I know this is kind of retrospective, I guess, but my wife sent me Will Smith's apology. So he says he was out of line and wrong. He was embarrassed. No place for violence in a world of love and kindness. He apologized to the Academy. And it was an otherwise gorgeous journey, and he regrets that his behavior stained it.
Well, can he rewind it back?
He can't do that. Hey. Wait a minute. He got in one little fight, and his mom got scared. Is that what I'm hearing right now? Will Smith got in one little fight, and his mom got...
And his mommy said, you can't slap a comedian for making fun of Jada's hair.
How old is his daughter now, Willow, by the way? I remember her having that god-awful Whip My Hair song that was huge that I used to fight with my friend about because she wanted to play that shit in the car everywhere we went. And I was like, I'm not riding with you.
Don't make fun of that song.
Bro, I'm making fun of that song.
Willow whipped her hair so hard and Jada joined along right next to her.
All
of Jada's hair fell out.
That's what I was about to say. I was just about to say she whipped her hair off. I whipped my hair back and forth. Oh, shit. Damn, Jada put it back on.
They did have some weird kids. They're what's their son's name?
I don't know. Never heard of him.
She is 21.
That's crazy, man. I'm old.
And you can remember the Smith kids. You can remember the Smith kids because one of them is named after each of them. There's Willow, who's named after Will, and Jaden, who's named after Jada.
It's opposite gender. Okay. The daughter's
and then
the father,
Trey.
and the father and the son. Yeah. Who?
Trey.
They have another son or a daughter?
Yep.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Nobody knows who they are, but there's also Trey.
Harley said he's living with Sam Hyde, allegedly. Did you guys see this breaking news that may or may not be confirmed?
Oh, wait. Harley's going to be living with Sam Hyde?
Just said he's going to live with Sam Hyde to train for the boxing event.
Oh, my God.
Harley. Sam Hyde is fighting Harley.
Is that who's going to fight him?
Oh, wait, what?
No, it's bullshit as far as I know. I think he's fighting somebody from Rooster.
He's not fighting Sam Hyde, though.
No, Sam Hyde's going to take him underneath the bridge and show him the master ways of boxing.
Like he did with Idos? Ego Raptor, that's who he's fighting. Yeah. Okay, so he's going to live with Sam Hyde. Word. That means we're going to get to meet Sam Hyde. That's dope. Sam Hyde, future real men talk shit. Your dream coming true, Myth?
That would be amazing. Sam Hyde is...
I can only imagine that Sam Hyde would probably have a mouthful to say about my legal case if I had to hazard a guess.
Yeah.
Harley is fighting Ego Raptor and going to stay with Sam Hyde while he's training. This is all from Harley's mouth, right on the line. And I have to say that Sparkle is aware of the fact that we're friends with Harley and probably wouldn't tell us that when we can't. Yeah, he knows we can go confirm, and he doesn't.
I trusted Sparkle. I did not trust Antagonist.
When Sparkle comes in, we're like, okay, all right. I guess he's going to live with Sam Hyde then. Yep, I believe you, Sparkle. All right, well, that's pretty sick. We're gonna get the. All right, so look forward to the next couple weeks or months. Sam Hyde on the podcast, hopefully.
Yeah, you're just over promising. I'm not that good at my job. I tried to get him to message me for PKA, and he didn't fucking answer.
Who, Sam Hyde?
Yeah.
Don't worry, I got this.
Well, now you know. Now Harley's got the connections. Come on.
Exactly. See, now we got the elbow that we needed, or the open door, I guess.
I want them to cosplay like they did in the iDubbbz video the whole time. Like they're just a big rap studio now, and they're also like
that one guy that's like
crypto schemes.
Who was that guy that was like, I just make money, you know what I mean? The rapper, the chubby guy.
Yeah.
I just make, you know what I'm saying? These are like $3,000. This is like 400. That dude was fucking hilarious.
Oh, they're so good.
The rapper guy, he was like, that's just what I do. I just rap. Since I was born, I do that. I rap. I was like, what is this guy? What is his existence? But it turns out it was just a joke.
Yeah.
Thankfully. Thankfully, that guy wasn't real that I was seeing.
I know I'm not alone in this, but how many of us fucking sit there on the toilet playing with our phones, shitting, so long that our fucking legs go numb?
Not very much.
That started with the Game Boy, dog. This ain't nothing to do with no cell phone, bro. When that
Game Boy,
little kid.
Fucking shampoo bottles because I forgot to bring something in the bathroom with me. Whatever fucking pamphlets were in the boxes that my mom hid underneath the sink. Whatever the fuck I could find to look at, because you know
you got to have something to focus on when you're pooping.
Yeah,
I always just go with a rapid game of chess. Nice 3-0. Keep it short. You know.
So I was getting ready to take a shower
Easy.
watching Josh's stream, and I was shitting. And I fucking
Oh,
stood
good.
up after my legs were numb from about like mid-thigh down.
Classic.
And I went to turn around to start getting undressed. And I almost broke my fucking ankle because my ankle went from like this to like this. My fucking flip-flop ended up with the part that you walk on facing the sky.
Nice.
Fucking bashed my shoulder into the fucking shower, bashed my head into the shower, and both my legs wanted to be jello, so I couldn't even stand back up. I had to lean against my glass shower door and hope that I didn't break it.
So we ended up going to the hospital.
No, my
For
leg
once,
is,
it doesn't end that way.
I took 1,800 milligrams of Motrin to get rid of that pain.
But
we
no
do
hospital.
we do have a hospital story we have to get to though in our final minutes. What was
true.
again? Remind me. What were we talking about last time?
I think it was his neck.
Yeah, so we were talking about how we were trying to save things from hospitals, and I was talking about how I needed the tire back from my NASCAR to put it back on my NASCAR.
The
So-
tire that he got stuck in his nose.
Yeah.
They didn't give him the tire back.
When do we get to see some hot loads? When I get to partner.
Ooh.
Oh God! Don't make that promise. Josh
Wait.
is already regretting the Pearl promise.
There's a
There's
thing,
so many
though.
logistics to it. Oh my god.
There's a thing though. I will legitimately just post a picture or a video on fucking the PK subreddit and just be like, there it is. I'm
There
not
it
afraid.
is.
I
It's
guess
hot.
so.
It's
Is
a
that-
load,
Yeah.
and
Is it
I'm
going to be
Zach.
steaming?
You definitely need to
I'm-
Photoshop some steam over the top.
No, I'm gonna put a whole bunch of green dye in it so that way it looks acidic.
Hell yeah.
Oh God! You're not dirty.
It's just hot
No, but it's
loads.
burnt.
It's just a hot
No,
load. I mean, what
that wasn't a reference to him being on clean. That was a reference to the dirty, the PK patron who burns his girlfriend apparently with his acidic loads.
Damn. He needs to calm down. It's a lot of load. My goodness, acidic.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
hot
he
as hell.
says. That's what he says.
I had a line in my rap that I released where I said, "Here's a warning: when I jerk to make me come, the frick shot and leave you looking like a burned victim." So I guess it's kind of it rhymes when I say it in the actual cadence, but it doesn't rhyme like that. But
yeah.
similar concept, but that was just more about the friction, just making it molten. So similar concept, but the prosecutors didn't think it was very funny. They took me literally. They were like, "He wants to ejaculate on a woman with molten magma cum." He wants to Torbjorn for all my Overwatch players. He literally wanted a Torbjorn all over her face. He wanted a magma cum. Good God. They quoted a part where I said I was going to make a corpse into a coffee table. Did I ever mention that? I said, "We'll make your corpse
Oh
into
my
a coffee
God.
table party and leave." And they literally pulled it up on the screen. They're like, "He wants to make corpses into coffee tables." Dog, bro. I don't literally want to make corpses. And that wouldn't work. It would be rotting. I don't know anything about taxidermy. I don't have the steady hands.
I don't know
So-
anything
so-
about taxidermy.
Josh, in your streamer house, when you get a room to stream in, I want you to do this, and we'll clip this and send it to you and bother you with it. Take one of those skeletons, like the one next to Myth, and mount it in a position with its knees and hands up in the air. And then box it in glass and get a piece of glass so that way you could use it as a coffee table.
That'd be pretty ironic. Made a corpse a coffee table. And then I'll party
Mhm.
and leave, just like the song said. Every check mark I can get against the prosecutors leads up to an eventual checkmate. Every time I prove that I'm not a crazy motherfucker. Oh my God, guys, you want to know something crazy? I don't think I told you all about this. I got a really, really, really crazy thing. I don't know if I told you all this. So I went to prison for making threats on RuneScape. Everybody knows that, right?
Yep.
Everybody kind of knows the gist of the story. I was playing RuneScape and I was talking to my buddy Anthony about fucking Super Columbine Massacre, a different video game, right? And that's when this dude butted in and we had the argument, okay? The guy that I sent my lawyer after was this Anthony guy, man. He was like 15 or 16, but he was my buddy. I was 19, He was pretty much my only internet friend at the time. He's a guy that played RuneScape with me. Well, I'd started doing PvP on RuneScape recently. Not something I'm really into, I go to a PvP world where you fight other players. I'm walking around. Somebody runs up to me and goes, "Hey, man, is that who I think it is? Is that Josh?" This happens to me pretty often, if you'll forgive my immodesty. It's a relatively well-known name on the game now, So I was like, "Yeah, what's up, man?" He's like, yo, what's up, Josh? I used to play RuneScape with you a lot back in the day. And I said, yeah, I get that a lot because everybody fucking says that to me. Is bro, I used to be on your friends list back in the day. I used to game with you. So I was like, yeah, okay, sure, buddy. And he was like, nah, man, my name was ERR185. And I was like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. Guess who it is, guys? Guess who I just met?
Oh my gosh.
I met the motherfucker that was with me when I made the threats, guys, on RuneScape. I just ran into him. He confirmed everything is really him, bro. He remembers
the guy who turned him in. The guy who turned you in.
No. My friend that was there when the argument started.
The friend that is that the friend that sent you the Columbine?
I will make a call for you right now.
Massacre. Yes, the guy that told me about the video game because we were friends from 4chan, and he told me about it. I just ran into that guy on RuneScape, and we're on Discord and everything. I'm gonna make a video with him, dude. We need to bring him on this motherfucker. Like I was just God. But I was legit though. Like I was like, hey, just so you know, bro, I really hope I didn't like freak you out or scare you or anything. And he was like, no, bro, I knew that shit was bullshit. I was there, man. That's crazy. Like I can't wait to have this dude like in a video with me or something, man. He's like 20-something years
That'll
old
be
now.
amazing,
You know?
yeah.
I actually ran into like, what are the fucking odds? So I just started PvPing, and it turns out he's a PKer. So he spends all his time in the one world where I never would have ran into him. Never would have seen it.
I was going to say, I will call the ATF. I will call the FBI, whoever you need me to call, and I will call them right now.
We got this. It's going down. We're going to make a video with this dude or something. Like, I got to figure out what he's up to, get his take on it. Because the whole crux of the story that I've always told, my friend told me to download this game, and then this argument happened, and he was there, and he saw the whole thing. This is the guy. I found him. Or he found me, really, because he recognized my name. I never would have guessed his. It's way different than what it used to be, you know? And he told me his name, and the first thing that I said when he said my name was ERR185. My first thought, honest to God, was I must have said the RuneScape name in a video somewhere. That's honestly my first thought. Like, I'm not trying to say I'm famous or something, but internet trolls know no fucking bounds. So I just wouldn't be surprised if I casually said that name. My buddy ERR185 was with me, you know, and somebody wrote it down or remembered it. Somebody's got freak memory, and they're fucking with me. And I was like, nah. That's the first thing I said. He said ER185. I said, nah, with like 10 H's. And he said, damn, you don't remember? And I said, nah. I said, yeah, for real, though. Who are you, dude? Do I really know you? And he said, no, seriously, dude, I'm ER185. And I said, what's your name? And he said, add me to your friends list. I'll private message you. Boom. I said, dude, you've got to be kidding me. He confirmed everything. He remembered his neighbor's name, which I remembered. Like what we were doing on RuneScape, because we were doing against the rules shit right before I went to prison. Not going to lie about it. We were breaking the rules. He remembered everything. Like, it's really him. So I was like, well, that's crazy. Fucking insane. Like, between, like, I don't know, man.
No, no, you were doing double money scams. It's okay. You don't have to.
I did, yes, but that's not what I needed his help with. I did that with my clan. Yes, I did do doubling money scams. That was easy as hell. All you got to do is bring a clan of your friends to all pretend like you're doing it for real. No, what me and him used to do is called luring. It's where you trick a guy into bringing high risk items or high value items into a risky area where he's going to lose them. You just make him think he can't lose them. And you're just basically taking advantage of just greed. We would basically go into a dangerous area and drop a valuable item and count on his humanity to make him click on that bitch and run out there like a moron. And then we'd kill him. And it's against the rules to put them in those circumstances. Even though he fucked up, you know, it's his greed that he did. It's still against the rules to put them in those circumstances. I know. Stupid. It was a kid's game originally, remember? So luring. Yes. It's still in the fucking. It's still in the rules. So
even in like Minecraft, like servers where it's like there's free world and then there's like a spawn at worth a shop or whatever, like people sit at the edges all day and try to lure people out, and that's like, it's Minecraft. It's the most kids game out there.
Yep, exactly. And they didn't ban it though, did they? They don't have it. I bet you won't get. I guess it depends on the server.
Yeah, that's completely it does depend on the server, but most servers like that's just the rules, that's what happens.
Jagex's official rules is that's luring. It was actually a really big deal way back in the day. A really famous PKer got permanently banned from the game for luring somebody because kind of a long story. I got these animals in RuneScape called chinchompas. It's like chinchillas, but they explode. That's just going to be the best way for me to describe them. Long story short, I was going to say
they better look like a fucking Pikachu, otherwise we're going to have some problems.
I have a pet version of it that looks exactly like a Pikachu, and it says "Squeaka Squeaka" when you talk to it because they clearly were making a mod. They put a Pokemon reference straight up in the game. But with the Chinchompas, they're magical creatures. Like I said, when you throw one, they split into however many targets there are, and they explode on every single one of them. So it was a really popular scam back in the day for you to get you and your buddy. And I stand on this side of the line where you're allowed to attack multiple targets. And he stands on this side where you can only fight one at a time. And when he throws that Chinchompa, it hits both of us. And the game thinks that he attacked me first and he's going to lose all his items if he dies. It's called a skull. And that's a trick that you used to do. You'd say, hey, I'm doing something for a video. Or the most popular one was, look, I'll show you how to do a duplication glitch and you can make all of your money doubled. Just something to take advantage of their greed, basically, is how you would trick them into it. And then, Yep, that's why as soon as I saw, Elon Musk or whoever the fuck tweeting, send me any Bitcoin and I'll send double back feeling generous. I was like, oh, they got hacked by a RuneScape player.
Yeah.
Some RuneScape
It's
player.
the oldest
definitely.
scam in the book, and it still goes on, and people still fall for it.
If anybody wants to find out a little bit more about that, by the way, if you go to the YouTube channel of Crumb, CRUMB, you might need to type OSRS after because it is a RuneScape channel. He did a full video on that guy that hacked into those big. You remember that when the dude did the Bitcoin scam with the big Twitters that he had?
Mm-hmm.
He did a whole video on it. Yes, believe it or not, it started off with that guy being a toxic Minecraft scammer. So that's actually where he started. He learned how to scam and be a piece of shit and social engineer on Minecraft.
It's always it's always like RuneScape, Minecraft, something like that.
Do we want to go philosophical, or do we want to go and talk about my neck surgery? Since that's where we were going,
neck
but
surgery because it's been a kind of a theme that like you finish, wrap up kind of the story that you told at the end last time, and then say, and then this. Okay. If you can pull another one out of your ass for the grand finale to lead them into next week, then
I have a list of
like
60 or 70 stories that I'll send to the group chat. But excellent. Yeah, I have like 60 or 70 stories of like little clips of things I could just talk about.
It'll be Zach's wisdom at the end. It's a running theme now, guys. You saw it here first in number 72, ? 72. But all right, in that case, then what's on the philosophy table? What do you have for us?
Okay, so me and my wife took the kids out for the night the other day. We stayed at a hotel. We were staying in the space-themed hotel. It was fucking awesome. Literally, the baby got to sleep in the living room, and she was sleeping in a playpen, so she's laying on her back looking up at the sky. And the ceiling was fucking a light-up ceiling, so there was stars moving across the ceiling. It was really fucking cool. But me and my wife sat down and we're watching a movie. And this movie was about how essentially she was reliving this week of her life after her husband died. And every time she fell asleep, she sat there and would fall back into a different day of the week and put more pieces together about what happened and shit like that. And it kind of was unconsequential. So even if she changed something, the thing still fucking happened. Murph, you would have no idea what the fuck any of it means. It's just thought starters, so that way I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
He would know, we wouldn't.
Yeah. So during this week, her husband dies. Her daughter falls through a glass plate window. She goes to a psychiatrist and talks about her husband dying before it happens. She goes to the spot where he dies before it happens and kind of just like looks at it and tries to understand. And then it gets to the day where her husband dies.
Right.
Oh, she also saw the dead body in the casket with the head decapitated. But generally, shit happens. So,
yeah.
And then I started getting like an epiphany. And I'm like, fuck. I wonder if when you pass or go to the place where you're going to die, if you have a feeling of deja vu. Or is life completely unconsequential and everything you do is just fucking random and kind of completely controlled by the things you do anyway? Or is there a set time, place where you're possibly going to die?
Well, obviously, I think that first off, I don't think anybody can say any of that for certain, clearly. But it's all going to be strictly philosophy,
Yeah, that's why I said it's a philosophical topic that we're going to just dive deep into some minds.
I don't know, man. I don't really talk too much about spirituality a lot, as you guys know. I was an atheist for over a decade, and I was a Buddhist for 6 years of that. So an atheist Buddhist, non-theist Buddhism is what it's called. I was practicing that, actually very much considered pursuing a life as a layperson in Buddhism. Not kidding, when I was in prison. Considering not getting back on drugs and sex and all that stuff whenever I got back out of prison, honestly, because of my pursuits in Buddhism. I'm not Buddhist anymore. I had a crazy spiritual experience that I don't really talk too much about because I remember when I was an atheist and I would have called somebody schizophrenic and I would have laughed at them. And I get that. I remember. I understand it. So I don't really bother talking about it, to the general public. I talk about it to certain people. And I personally don't think there's randomness, man. I think that it's real easy to look at everything and see randomness and see chaos and see, the Big Bang to today with all this matter flying around and everything just happens. No, man, I've been reading up on something particularly lately with Edgar Casey. and a lot of this started with fractalization, which I was talking about with myth, actually. Originally, I was talking about Wendigoon and myth when we were talking about that. Now, I've seen fractals, and I knew a lot what he was talking about, and I'd never really considered it in a spiritual framework because I was an atheist back then, if you recall. So I decided to kind of look more into that now that I'm not an atheist anymore, now that I do believe in God, which I do. I'm a Christian, and I can't believe it. Still sounds crazy to me to say that because I can't tell you guys how much of an atheist that I was. I used to literally start fights over people believing in Jesus. But, you know, I will just say that I'm a very, very big believer in doing the right thing. The golden rule, I think, the thread that connects everything. This Edgar Cayce thing that I've been reading about plugs really, really hard with Buddhism and Christianity. It's very, very interesting. It explains a lot about like why God could allow suffering in the case of him being able to stop it and loving us, et cetera, as well as, and this was the hot take for why so many Christians hate Edgar Cayce, is that he said, ultimately, you can't tell from the Bible that souls are reused. And that it doesn't seem like that, and that ultimately these are lessons. And it was pretty much the exact same thing as Buddhism that he was teaching about. But he said that Jesus was the person that figured out how to basically move back and forth through it and to see through it. You know, he's the first one to basically beat the test in accordance with the creator of the, I'm not opposed to the simulation theory personally. I think it's very scientific, and I like the simulation theory. I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive at all. And by that note, man, it feels right to me. And I think that, I like what Edgar Cayce said. He said basically that, and he stated it as fact, of course, through this strange series that I can't even get into. He stated as fact that basically life is almost pointless in how pointful it is. And that the moment that you're a victim of a random act of violence, somebody comes up behind you and shoots you in the back of the head, right, Zach? Just right now, just somebody pops a gun through that wall and shoots you in the head, right? You're not going to feel any pain. You're not going to, you know, in his perspective of it and the way that he sees it, you've got kids. You've got desires. You got a lot of things going on in your life right now. And maybe you're not spiritual. You know what I'm saying? And all these things that might confuse you or hold you back from going forward or going back into the energy side. It all relates back to energy and matter are the same. And I'm going to shut the fuck up in a second because I want to hear what you guys got to say about it. But as we all know, Einstein said energy and matter are the exact same thing. This universe is matter. He said that this other side is just the yin yang where the energy is. It's an energy side where energy has coalesced. This is the side where the matter exists, but it's just yin yangs of the same thing. And he basically said that, long story short, no matter what struggles you go through when you die, eventually, at some point, you're going to pop back to that side where you eternally are from. The real form of life, the actual energy, and where this all began, you know, the source of it. And you're going to float around there with whatever lessons you did or did not learn, with whatever you did or did not do, and whatever you did or did not impact other people. Until eventually it's about time for you to hopefully learn something again, and you hold your nose and you fall back down, and then here we go again. Okay. And we're going to see what lessons we can learn now. Can we learn compassion, and can we find our way back to this greater spirituality? How many times is it going to take us going through this cycle before we start to see? Almost like whenever you're stuck in a drug trip, or what the Buddha called hell, where you're walking back and forth through razor wire for 10,000 years, but you still get another chance, because at the end of the day, in his view, in Buddhism, there was no God, of course. And in this view, God does want you to come home. He does love all people. He will not send you to hell eternally, and you will get your chance. And that's a worldview that I much prefer to subscribe to. I'm not saying I buy it just yet, but it's something I'm studying on. So sorry about that. Myth, you actually started a large part of that, because I had forgotten. I really didn't think much about fractalization until you mentioned it again. And I was like, you know what? That was kind of my spirituality. And that's what helped move me towards Buddhism, was the acid and stuff that I used to do, if I'm being honest, you know. But under my new framework of the theism that I have, as somebody who had an insane experience that I don't relate much because I wouldn't expect people to believe me in the first place, it's a different framework now, and I view it differently, you know, and that kind of led me down this path that I'm on right now. So I will again say I have no idea, but
it's very strange how like psychedelics are very well linked with religious organizations, the starting of them, the prospering of them, and how it's kind of been tilted away from that within modern times because of the demonizations of hallucinogenics. But
and not to cut you off, but I don't want to go off that topic for just 2 seconds. It's very interesting when you look at all religions as a whole and how many of them actually do interact with psychedelics and stuff like that. But it's very hard to understand as an agnostic atheist to look at some of this stuff and be like, okay, I can understand where that goes to that. But I also don't understand why everything is so idealist and like completely the idea of this is an all-being, all-powerful kind of thing. It's just, it's so weird, that relationship of those two things and how they interact with each other and how many of them are so similar. And there's just like little tweaks and everything that it's
a lot
like,
of it comes to the golden rule at the end.
Like if you think about it, when somebody takes psychedelics and they're seeing something, it's absolutely interesting to see that change and to see that they're seeing something. And no, I wasn't saying hush myth. I wanted to get the thought out before we fucking completely went on a rant about something different, because I understand how to form a fucking thought.
He didn't. That, and now I have that information, and I still remember what Myth was saying. Myth, you were saying that about the psychedelics and about the fractalization.
Yeah. So generally, I don't necessarily believe in an all power, all or being of all power that controls everything. But I do believe that something had to be the start of the universe. At least with the way we know physics today, you can't obviously start nothing out of or something out of nothing.
The energy came from somewhere.
I don't necessarily believe that we are the main importance. It's kind of like believing that God watches over our world is kind of like believing that you're the main character. It's just a larger scale, you know.
To a certain extent, but who's to say that you are not me? Just out of curiosity, not to get too philosophical, but just being honest, who's to say that it's not the same soul over and over and over and over again? It very well could be all about you or all about me. I will also say that biologically speaking, it's a completely absurd thought to think of anything about a soul or anything of that nature, you know, from a scientific perspective. In my opinion, I very much strongly believe that. I also believe that energy can't be created or destroyed. And the way that I used to balance that with the concept of death is that, well, when you die, you know, your body becomes energy because you feed the ground, you turn into nutrients, et cetera, et cetera. That's where that energy goes. But that's not true with the electricity that is in your body. It doesn't simply go dormant and become an energy that resides in your bones to be fed upon. That energy goes somewhere. And that was kind of a start for me. And I know that that's kind of a vague concept, I guess, but I'll say this. All right. As far as the concept of a creator and all this goes, and, you know, one of the big things is like the concept of something living this long, right? Let's say that hypothetically there is a God. Okay. And if word is to be believed, we're looking at least 4,000 years of this same God interacting with humanity, right? Mm-hmm. I would just like to point out that from Einstein's math and from the theory of relativity, time is bullshit. Time is completely irrelevant. Time is completely proportionate to your gravity. And if you existed hypothetically, if you were standing on the surface of a black hole, you could look at the entire Earth be born and dissolve in seconds. Mm-hmm. What we perceived as millions of years in a matter of seconds, it's all perspective to your gravity. So if something hypothetically existed outside of what we call the universe to begin with, it is not beholden to any rules of what we call physics or science. And by nature will be impossible to prove through science, because that's kind of the purpose of it, is to not be proved by science. We're talking about something that by nature is outside of being able to be defined by science, which is why ultimately I think deciding without any kind of personal experience one way or the other is you know, not smart. You know, when I was an atheist, I did all the debates. I was an atheist my favorite thing to do as an atheist was debate atheists and try to argue them down just to make myself sharper. That's the kind of shit that I was on, you know? Mm-hmm. And I had already out-argued everything. And I will forgive anybody in the chat that holds this thought dear, but some third grade argument like God loves everybody and he can do anything, but I can shoot a baby, so God's not real. Even when I was an atheist, I realized that's a shit argument. And I've got a lot of prongs for why that's a shit argument.
But that does bring up a really, really good argument that most people genuinely don't think of it this way. And it kind of circles back to the topic, is if you think about it, you have to count in free will if you think that everything is already predetermined.
Free will is the ultimate answer.
Everything that you do has two outcomes. So there's at least two different circumstances and two different worlds that you exist in.
Presumably,
yes. Say yes, and one where you say no.
That comes down to Schrodinger's equation, yes. The uncertainty principle.
Yep, exactly. So
physics holds up on all of this, yes.
So in the grand scheme of things, it's very hard to sit here and say, hey, I genuinely believe or I genuinely don't believe. Even as agnostic as I have been, where yes, I've done the same exact fucking things you have, where I'm like, nah, you're just full of shit. And I've had super, super in-depth conversations with people that are super, super fucking religious and religiously retarded.
Absolutely. Plenty of them.
Mm-hmm. But also super, super agnostic people that don't believe anything and never have, and just had both of those conversations and came to the same conclusion. I know personally, I will never believe because I can't genuinely understand or believe or see it.
I said that too.
I
think what you meant to say was until you believe or see it, right?
Yes, exactly.
Understandable then. And that, in my opinion, is the only acceptable philosophical argument in favor of atheism, in my opinion, or agnosticism. That I have found. If you say I don't believe because I ain't seen it, I can't argue with you, dog. 100%. I'm not going to tell you what you have or have not experienced. It's when people try to tell other people what they have or have not experienced. That's when things get iffy.
And at the end of the day, like you're saying, no matter what people have experienced and what they choose to believe, I think we all can agree that this shouldn't be something that is a separation between people.
Never.
Even if you believe different things, you need to understand that everybody has different opinions and different life experiences, and that should not be used against somebody or in an ill intent way.
I'm also going to go on the record to saying this real quick. I had an experience that was insane. It was something that I never would have believed in prior to this happening. I know that my wife and her family had a lot to do with it. Damn, I'm sorry. I read the chat and got motherfucking. Okay, yeah, let me go on the record to saying this. I had my experience, right? And it's crazy. And it's something I didn't want to believe in, by the way. Let me say that. I never thought the words "I'm a Christian" came out of my mouth, right? The experience that I had and what I learned and what I felt is not reflected in what you see in Christians on the media and in the churches and the ones that you hear about and that you talk about. And I don't know what is going on with them. Because what I felt was love and unity and a complete understanding and acceptance of all human beings, forgiveness for everyone, and complete understanding that every human being on this planet Earth came from the same fucking organism that I did, some unicellular organism a trillion years ago, what the fuck ever, and that every living thing on this fucking planet is my brother, and every human deserves my respect and my love, and that I'm not going to judge anybody until they fucking fuck me over on a personal basis. So all this shit that these guys are doing, please don't let me in with them. All right, we're not all like that. Some people have had powerful spiritual experiences, not something somebody told them about and they misinterpreted out of a book because they want to believe this, and so they're telling you why it says this, and that's not what it means. I'm not with all that. I'm not into hate, man. Love and acceptance for all people, 100%.
I've had undescribable fucking experiences. Some of them have happened on this show, and I've come out and kind of fucked up and told the story, but I'll tell the story here. So I'll tell two stories. So I was on the phone with a medium who decided to come on as a guest. We were just shooting the shit back and forth, and we were kind of like pre-gaming before he was going to come on. I don't know if he's fucking real. I can't genuinely say it if he is or if he isn't.
3 weeks ago, I'd have been ready to make fun of him. Today, I'd hear him out, but go ahead.
So I walked from my kitchen into my living room, and my living room was flipped from the way it is now. And I was doing the show on a laptop still, so I wasn't in a closed off space like I am now. And the corner of the room was pitch black, like absolutely fucking black. And I watched this orange basketball glowing fucking orb come out of the floor, emit light that lit up the fucking TV stand, and shoot into the corner of the fucking room.
A Foo Fighter.
And out the fucking wall.
You saw this with your own eyes?
Yes. Wasn't
while you
high.
were talking to this medium?
Yes. Wasn't high. Wasn't drunk. I'm not schizophrenic.
Wait, was this on air when this happened?
No, this was off air.
Okay. Oh, okay.
This was before he came on the show.
Oh, got it.
I'll explain why I brought him up and why it's important in a second. So this happened, and I'm like, you'll never guess what the fuck just happened. He's like, you had an experience, didn't you? Like, yep. I explained to him what happened. And I'm like, I can't fucking explain it. He's like, I can. I will at some point.
He will at some point.
2 weeks later, he comes on the show. He's about like 45. No, probably about 65.
That's a big fucking difference, Zach.
Yeah, I don't know why I said 45. I'm fucking retarded. I am fucking retarded. So we're sitting here bullshitting, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make this dude prove that he's a fucking medium. I'm going to serve it up to him on a platter and see what he can do. Because I am a pseudo-intellectual, and I like questioning people and making them prove themselves.
Pseudo-intellectually said.
You get it. So I like making people prove themselves, especially if they're saying something fucking crazy like I'm a fucking medium.
Absolutely.
So he's like, So you have somebody in your family, right? That's passed on. I said, yeah, obviously. Now I expected him to pull out my dead brother, my dead grandmother, like people that were super, super interactive and integrated into my life. Like my brother passed away when I was 4. My grandmother passed away when I was 4. My grandmother took care of me until I was 4, pretty much every day. So like, if a medium's going to pull somebody out of the veil, pretty easy to be like your grandma.
Right.
Especially when me and him have already had that conversation. I would assume
That's where
he's
he's going
fake
to go.
it.
Right.
He's going to fake it. He's going to say your grandma came and told you you're doing a good job. Like, that's what I expected. So he's like,
yeah.
He's like, so I'm seeing this tall guy, probably about a little bit taller than you, really, really long hair. He keeps turning around and grabbing his ponytail and pointing to it. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, oh, he's walking in a frame a little bit better. He's walking in a frame with a horse. What the fuck? Why is he walking up with a horse? And I'm like, what the hell? And about like 5 minutes of this goes past. He like describes them a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And about 3 weeks before this, I had a conversation with my grandfather. And my grandfather's telling me, he's like, our family came over on the Mayflower. Very, very integrated family, was very, very big in politics and kind of integrated with the country and kind of pushed it forward. So I had a grandfather, a great grandfather that signed the Declaration of Independence, was one of the first governors of Rhode Island. And then he pulled his name out of the fucking hat and was like, is this person related to you? And it matched the fucking name that my aunt and my grandfather were telling me.
That's pretty
My
crazy.
last name is not the same. It is not the same as anybody that is in the tree. I share my last name with my mom. I don't share my dad's last name.
Right. We're going back many generations anyways.
Yeah. Well, entire family tree has the same last name, except me if you follow in a line.
Oh, okay.
Like if you follow only the males in the line, I'm the only one with a different name. So that is the one thing that I've always been like, I can understand where there might be something. Is like, especially recently because of that, where it's like, I can understand where shit just is fucking weird and doesn't fucking make sense.
It's not easy to say it, bro. I promise you. It's not easy to say it. It's not easy to be okay with stuff like this. You know what I mean? I get it. I assure you.
But
I was
I also,
what I consider to be a scientifically minded individual for most of my life. So, and I
definitely
still
nowadays where the majority of the opinion is, you're either crazy or stupid if you do believe it.
Yep.
And it like
that's what I thought.
People have a veil on science, like it's the answer to everything, and that we know everything currently.
Exactly.
But a lot of things you're taught in school are not known for sure, or they're only very recently known, and there's still competing evidence and theories. Everything is not set like the mainstream wants you to think it is, and tells you that it is. And you really see it in our culture today with how people act, especially again with being so dissociated from these spiritual experiences. With most people haven't done psychedelics, most people haven't had experiences like that. And it would really be interesting to see if we did change and go back to a more spiritual phase, and maybe that could even be a lot more integrated with science and base it more on fact, unlike it has been in the past, used for power and manipulation.
Can I give you an example of that?
Yes.
So I would imagine that you're at least you're aware of what string theory, like the way to have quantum gravity. It could probably make sense if string theory made sense,
Yep.
And obviously quantum gravity being the unification, for those who don't know, of Newton's theory of gravity and Einstein's, because they can't both be right. but they're both right. They don't equal each other, but they're both right. So that's the best simplified explanation I can give. It's about how things work on very small scales with gravity versus very large, and they can't both be right. Well, we have a theory, string theory, right, that could unify them both. Okay, but string theory kind of doesn't make sense. It adds up great for what we have so far, right? It all fits perfectly, right? But, okay, and this is an example of what Myth said. It predicts other dimensions other than the 4 that we perceive.
Yep.
So guess what happened? Nope, it's wrong. Never mind. Is this not an example where you think that maybe having a broader spiritual sense of dimensions might benefit science in some way? Conversely, I cannot tell you how many times that I have been, you want to know one of the number one reasons that I was such a gnarly atheist growing up is because I always thought that you had to choose between God and science. That's what I thought. I thought you were asking me to choose between imaginary friends sitting up there floating on a cloud and carbon dating of a dinosaur bone that we know for a fact is this many years old and has been in the earth for this long. And it's an easy choice in my opinion. You know what I mean? These two things being at odds, I think are really holding each other back. And I know that's a real fucking hot take because science hates religion or religion hates science. So I'm just throwing it out there, everybody. I'm just saying in a specific example of string theory, look a little bit fucking farther because this is a prime example of where they said, okay, never mind. Our science that we have right now doesn't fit this. So we're just going to stop. Never mind.
It's just like what we were talking about the other week with the architectural diggings that they found. They used to not go past the Younger Dryas period because they believed that's where civilization started. You're not going to find anything past that. One person decided to go past that and found history that is way further back than we believed advanced civilizations made with clay pots and arrowheads and stone tools. And it's the same thing. They're in of course, when that came out, they still all denied it. Of course, they didn't want to go against what they understood as the truth at that time, just because that's what they were teaching people. That's what they learned when they were taught. That was the main.
That's why I think this.
And it limits you.
It might be the easiest way to explain spirituality and kind of idealist principles and everything kind of controlled and wrapped into one. I don't think any religion is right. Whether you believe in something, that's completely your faith and your ideology and how you perceive what actually is there.
Religion and spirituality are different.
Yes. But obviously, there wouldn't be so many different sects of each individual kind of ideal. It just wouldn't make sense. If you put everything...
I disagree. I can explain that.
Let me finish what I was saying, and maybe you'll understand what I'm trying to say. So I don't think everything kind of has been figured out, especially in the religious realm of, is this shit real or is this not? Even if it isn't provable, which it might not be, I don't think in the grand scheme of things, if you look at it, we've found exactly what's real and what could be there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely.
And yes,
what I was going to say,
there's a comment here. Do you believe in more than one universe?
Me? Yes. I mean, do I believe? Believe is a
question to all of us.
That's a strong word in my opinion. Believe. I will say that I would not
believe
be surprised.
that's possible.
Yeah, I think it's very possible, and I would say, in my personal opinion, quite probable. But I don't think they will ever be tangible. I don't think they will ever intersect, and I don't think that I will ever meet myself.
Wait, we're not in the Christian universe? They didn't converge like 10 years ago?
We're all living in Christian's dream.
But
well, hang on. This is what I was going to say. All right. For one thing about the what you were saying about, damn, I got my points out of order here. I typed them down so I wouldn't forget. Now I've got them backwards.
You're good.
All right. So what we were saying about spirituality and science, and you saying, the possibility of these not converging and us never knowing, and not, since by nature what we're talking about can't be proven by science, right? So we'll just kind of never know, right? So this was mentioned not too long ago, and I didn't talk much about it. And this isn't, once again, let me disclaim that I'm not saying these are my beliefs. I, again, am proposing hypotheticals here.
Yeah.
So you were saying, technology blending of science and, proving these things, these other dimensions, et cetera, may be well beyond our grasp. Well, not long ago, you asked me about aliens perhaps being biblical demons or biblical angels, perhaps as well, right? And I can say that as either way. You can look at that as aliens are demons or demons are aliens. I don't fucking care which way you're looking at it. I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm saying this philosophically. Let's say hypothetically that what we could call angels in this vast and infinite universe were a society that had science long before we did. I mean, like what did I say that one time? We're 500 years since Newton's apple fell off the tree. In 500 years, we've come this far. Imagine a society that has discovered gravity 5 million years ago, right?
Mhm.
Now, let's say that they did have a perfect blend of science and religion, and that they did, hypothetically, maybe string theory, and they found these other dimensions because they were open to it. And let's say that they found a way to access these predicted dimensions. And what if one of these dimensions that we can't perceive, by the way, our universe calculates as flat, which highly indicates that it's a sliver of something much greater that we can't see.
Mhm.
What if these people blended these two things, found their way through this divide in the dimensions, and in their part of the world did indeed prove that there was in fact a creator, at which point they dedicated their technology, their lives, their livelihood, etc., their ability to pass between these dimensions to helping the other people find their way as well. That's, again, not something I'm saying as a belief, strictly as a hypothetical. But that was one of the things where I'm saying that, science and religion holding each other back. That's an example of, that's why I said that, biblical angels, wouldn't that be the perfect sense that it would be the blend of God and science right here? Again, that's not something I believe. It's just something I was musing. And also what we were saying about, no religion being right and no spirituality being right. As I've said, I've been reading about this Edgar Cayce and this karmic law, of the back and forth of souls, and how, you're in this lifetime,
and the medium did talk about that, by the way.
Yes, I'm sure
I'm
they
not
did.
trying to cut you off. He talked about souls being essentially like matter and kind of just flowing through space. And it
They
was
go back
essentially
and forth each side, he said, right?
Yep. He actually said I lived 27 times.
Mm-hmm.
It
So
was
in accordance with that.
It was essentially the variability and on a level that normal humans couldn't see.
Right.
Which makes it obviously much easier for somebody to sit there and say that you can't see it, regardless if you believe in it or not.
Yep.
And say, hey,
exactly,
it's matter and everything else.
Yes, exactly.
I definitely find reincarnation very interesting, and definitely furthering science, going towards where energy is dispersed and complete. I always, when I get onto the subject, I always end up on which is completely debunked by now, is a bunk theory, but it's very interesting. When they used to weigh people as they died, and I believe it was like 3 pounds that
were unaccounted for. You randomly went missing when you died.
Which these theories were completely bunked, and they were done very badly and unethically.
Yes.
But it's still, looking into things like that, I find very interesting, and you don't know where everything goes. It's not all accounted for once you get into all the math and everything.
What I was gonna tell Zach about how he said, no spirituality, no religion being right, and how this ties in and he didn't say, in case anybody just catches that part, he wasn't saying everybody's got it wrong. What he said was he doesn't think anybody's got it perfected, is the way that I took it. And in this reincarnation discussion that we were having, and no, we typically don't get this deep. Somebody asked that. In this reincarnation discussion that we were having, kind of frames why that might be. Why? Because I've struggled with that, because my experience with what I had is vastly different than what another Christian's going to tell you happened with them. But we're both saying, the Holy Spirit, or whatever you want to call it, the contact with God. But we have two completely different messages. How the hell can you reconcile this with one God, right? Okay. So what Edgar Cayce said about this, from what I understand, and this is all open to interpretation, that's the nature of what he talked about, is read it for yourself and see what you think and how you feel about it, is that me and him are both right. Hypothetically, my soul in this lifetime and his soul in that lifetime, we don't need the same thing, bro. We don't got the same lessons to learn. We don't need, two different illnesses don't need the same medicine. He needs to be over here hearing, you better repent or you're going to burn in hell, and all that stuff that ran me away. Some people need that in Edgar Cayce's view, in his view of reincarnation. That explains why no church is exactly right. Yes, but no church is exactly wrong either. You can still get two different messages from one God, because it's not the God being different. It's the soul receiving the medicine, and that you therefore need this. So therefore, you'll have this church over here where they focus on love and acceptance, and maybe they've been here a few times. Maybe they've been back and forth. They're ready to start accepting compassion and go into the next step, love and humanity for each other. Whereas these people, they ain't been around that long. They ain't been here this many times, and they're stuck on money and drugs, and women. And anyways, just a hypothetical. But under that circumstance, though, under the Edgar Cayce's, reincarnation principle, that does actually solve the issue as well of how different churches can preach different things and still be perceived to be right, because they're, just different slices of the same pie, if you will, different medicine for different prescription. I thought that was interesting as a philosophical note. Again, not jumping out there and endorsing anything.
No, but it also does explain the whole nobody genuinely has it right. Nobody genuinely has anything
Exactly. There is
scientifically
no.
provenable or anything like
Even
that.
better yet, almost everybody does have it right, or they will in the end get it right. That's the best part to me. Yeah, nobody's got it right, yes, but if everybody will get it right, is what he said. Because he said that in his view, and he did. Also, it's worth noting, this Edgar Casey guy I'm talking about, he would go into a trance-like state, okay? And he would not remember, allegedly not remember the things he said. I would also like to point out that he predicted World War II. He predicted the stock market crash. He told people how to prevent the stock market crash. He had approximately 85% reported accuracy for prophecies. That's astounding to me, 85%, I would like to say. I think the average person is going to run it maybe less than 1% if you were to make a bunch of random prophecies. You know what I'm saying? And that is confirmed even by scientists, because he had scientists, like, trying to knock his door down. But it's worth noting that he was uncomfortable with the concept of reincarnation after emerging from his trance, because he felt initially that it was opposed to Christian doctrine. So by the way, he was a Christian. He was a diehard Sunday school teacher. He read the Bible cover to cover every day of his life, beginning at age 10. All right. So he was very uncomfortable when he spoke out of tongue or whatever realm that he was coming from about reincarnation. It made him very, very uncomfortable at first. And it took him a lot of years to kind of reconcile it, if that makes sense, of, as he called it, agonizing with God, trying to say, am I teaching the wrong message? If I say hell's not real, or hell's not what you think it is, because that's the number one tool that people try to use to scare you into being a Christian, is talking about hell. Hell was never on my mind. When I was an atheist, I wasn't scared of it. When I had my experience, I wasn't scared of it either. So that was just never a fucking thought in my mind, and it's pointless to focus on for me. You know what I'm saying?
But I think in the grand scheme of things, even if you I've just proved myself wrong. So there's everybody has one of two ways that they're able to learn things. You learn things faster if you use negative reinforcement instead of positive reinforcement. It's a proven human trait. Most people actually struggle with that shit.
Also could explain phobias. There's a multitude of things. Yeah, deja vu could be very big, not only with reincarnation, but also with multiverse theory. I mean, it very well could be just a little glint, just a little slip there. I remember not long ago reading about Dyson spheres, like the hypothetical, if we were able to just straight up stick a circle around a star and just absorb all its energy, that you could make a computer that legitimately had the processing power to simulate this universe right here with the power of a Dyson sphere.
Oh, yeah.
If you have the technology.
And it's basically a fractal CPU. Super interesting. I would look into it if you haven't heard of it. But I'd like to go back to we were talking about how energy and matter aren't necessarily the one and the same. And I think if you look at that, maybe not necessarily will things end with everybody knowing, but with we're not getting to a point where we realize what happens before we run out of energy. And our main source of energy right now obviously is the sun, but that can always change. We can always leave this planet. We can go get other suns. But what happens when that energy runs out? That's very interesting with different universes. And obviously we believe we're constantly expanding. And is that always going to create energy, or is there some point in which energy just ceases to exist within that one layer? Or however we do determine it's organized.
Layers seems to be right. You remember what I mentioned? The universe is flat. So yeah, layers does seem to be correct. It looks like basically we're perceiving a small sliver of what this universe really is. And I know that sounds crazy. I assure you. Even just a few months ago, I would have laughed at that. I've changed a lot just in the past few weeks. This all, by the way, Myth, once again, let me reiterate, this all ties back to fractalization, bro. He's talking about that same spot. That's where he said he was going in his mind. That same place where you mentioned people walking around, and Wendigoon mentioned walking around, speaking to specific entities, and different people can have the exact same memories. That is all exactly what Edgar Casey talked about. It was very, very interesting. I also found out that he was the inadvertent, accidental founder of the New Age movement, which was kind of disturbing to me to read. I saw a lot of similarities. I noticed that, I was like, oh, this is kind of like that crystal stuff they talk about, but they kind of took it a little bit further and then took Jesus out of it, so, but it's kind of all the same thing about positive energy and et cetera, and all this hippie shit that I just used to think was utter nonsense, and I don't know, man, life's crazy. I can say that much. I would like to ask you real quick, Zach.
Yep.
Having seen this orb that you experienced, right? Does that not change your worldview in some way now that you've seen something you can't explain? Would you not be more open to alternate theories of how the universe is?
So I always grew up watching like ghost hunter shows and stuff like that anyway. So I was kind of open to that ideal. Whether or not those shows are real or fake, who the fuck knows? Only those producers and show creators do. But in watching that stuff, in my mom being a nurse and kind of always telling me about like weird fucking things that happened when she was working and stuff like that, I was always kind of open to the ideal and idea that there is actual souls and stuff like that. Like I've kind of always been like, yeah, I just kind of can't explain it. I can understand that things happen that you can't fucking explain.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a start in my opinion.
Yeah.
I always hated that shit. I always did, which is weird coming from a kid. When I was in 6th grade, 5th grade, I wrote a fucking like 5-page paper on why the Loch Ness monster is in that bitch. Like I was all for it, I was all for it, but like spiritual and like ghosts and stuff like that, I just never vibed with it. I just always like, what we can see, what we can hear, what we can observe, and what we can scientifically prove is what I was all about until, now that I'm older and I'm sitting here going, if it doesn't conform to our laws, then how can we measure it?
Yeah.
How can we measure anything that doesn't conform to what we consider to be
and
the
I think
rules?
Me and Zach are more on the same page with the more believing in a spiritual existence rather than a standard set of organized religion that is currently going on.
Well, sure. Hell, don't count me in with organized religion, please.
Oh, no,
I stand strongly against it. But I had an experience that you guys haven't had. And that's another reason why I don't talk about it. Because I remember, I know what happened. Scientifically speaking, I don't know shit. I can't prove nothing to you. I can't show you any measurements. I can't show you some calculations. What I can show you is that I'm not drinking alcohol anymore and I'm a faithful father, that like stays off the drugs and fucking, keeps his nose clean. I can show you all that. But so for scientific purposes, I don't know a damn thing. I know what I know. And that's the point. That's the point is that it's personal. I get that now. And of course, that sounds like the old trope cliche that people will tell you, oh, well, it's a personal thing. Well, unfucking fortunately it is. I wish that I could hand it on a plate to you. I promise you, I wish that I could. But until people have their own individual experiences, I don't blame anybody for any beliefs at all, if that makes sense. I'm not one to judge.
This might be a topic for a different show. Obviously, we kind of went really hard into the religion, so we might just want to save this one in our group chat. But I would love to get somebody on that obviously dealt with addiction or something like that, and kind of have that conversation about like why religion is so intrinsic with no longer abusing drugs, no longer abusing alcohol. Why does anybody have to have a guidance from something that may be made up, may not be made up, whatever, as the main guiding light in somebody's life instead of morality or the way you live life, the things that you have, the things that you don't have, and like the drive that some people have that some people just don't. It would be an absolutely interesting conversation to have. And I don't know if you guys are willing to have it, but obviously
sure.
It would be a super, super in-depth conversation that kind of would
I think it's
definitely be some thought-provoking shit.
A spin on a worldview, most likely, because within the way most of these people think when they're addicted to drugs, they mostly feel like they have nothing to live for and that they're just going to do this just because they can, and they're living for the moment and having that experience. And rather not does it need a specific religion or any religion at all, but a change of mindset. And churches and religion can be a tool to help people work through and modify the way that they think about life. And I think that's a big part of it.
Well, addiction is very, very similar to suicide. And like if you genuinely just think about it, it normally happens when you're extremely down, you have nothing going for you, you're fighting against all odds, and you can't pick yourself up. Yes, completely agree in every single sense of the word. One of them, we call a mental health illness, and we treat with medication and treat with like trying to push you and make yourself do better, and you try and change the way you live. Addiction, we give people clean needles and tell them not to die on the streets, and like it's such a warped kind of ideology that we're not really kind of treating the way that we treat everything else. It's just super, super
more management than treating is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're trying to continue on and push them till tomorrow instead of just going through and kind of it's hard to fucking say. It's not the right politically correct fucking thing to say. But in the grand scheme of things, you are your own answer. I fucking dealt with it. If I didn't fucking pull myself out of suicide and everything else, I wouldn't fucking be here. Josh, you couldn't pull me out of being suicidal. Myth, you couldn't do the same thing. Yes, you could be there for me. Yes, you could try and show me what I'm missing.
But it's ultimately you.
You have to pull yourself out. You can't rely on anything else. So why we teach addicts to go through and rely completely on religion and the whole idealist fucking thing.
Where do they do that? Where AA doesn't do that.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
AA, NA, all that shit.
Dude, I knew more atheists than Christians in AA. They say find a higher power. They don't say it has to be God. They literally say it can be that doorknob.
But it's the ideal of 7-step programs and stuff like that is just them pushing you towards religion and a scapegoat of like, hey, you're not a bad person. You just made bad decisions. And religion has a better problem. I disagree,
bro. I've done a lot of AA, and no place ever told me to go get religion. They said it's a spiritual affliction, and they said you got to find something. You need to find a higher power, something greater than yourself, is what they say, because your way ain't getting it, is what they say. I disagree. I don't think any AA pushes religion. Now, your sponsor might, or an individual might. I think that the spiritual affliction that they mention is probably what you're referring to is exactly what you said, which is working on your morality, and taking acceptance for your mistakes and things like that. I believe that that's a spiritual thing. Even if you're a diehard atheist, I think that's a spiritual thing. That's getting in touch with your inner self and straightening yourself out, man. I don't think any AA or NA push any religion that I've ever been to. I've been to quite a few of them, man.
Oh, I just, and you might have had a different experience. Who the hell knows? It's completely anecdotal. I've never been to AA. I've never been to NA. I don't have those problems. I don't have addiction problems.
They do say it's a spiritual affliction, though, which is what I would assume is what you meant. It does say that in the big book. It says that addiction is an affliction of the spirit, is a spiritual affliction. But again, they don't mean you have to have God.
And it might also be because a lot of them locally are surrounded by churches, influenced by churches and stuff like that. So I would assume that, yes, they probably connected some way in my mind of like, hey, they probably do push a little bit. They probably do push, hey, join the congregation, do better for your community, be a part of the community and stuff like that. I don't like the whole ideal of like, hey, push religion, push ideals on somebody because they're a weakened individual who's dealing with an illness that's also being given clean needles and Narcan in the hallway outside.
I think probably back in the day, it definitely when there used to be more zealots out there and there used to be more mainstream is probably when things like that used to happen a lot more rather than them probably in recent times switching to spirituality.
No, definitely. What Zach is saying was definitely applicable probably like pre-1980, no doubt. Like when it was founded, it was very much, I think, a Christian-oriented program from the beginning. In modern times, I've never seen an inkling of that other than, like you said, they are oftentimes in churches and stuff. But I never felt pushed for it, man. What they mean when they say find something outside of yourself, as far as I understand it from the big book, just means that me sitting here by myself, making my own decisions, thinking that I got this is what led me to this position in the first place. And I need something bigger than me to focus on that I know I can't let down. That can be your daughter. And they literally, the anecdote that they use is it can be that doorknob. They say that at every AA meeting. Your higher power can be that doorknob, but you got to find something that's not something bigger, something outside of yourself. Because when we're stuck in ourselves, we make these decisions. And also you do pray there and stuff like that. Yes. But once again, man, it's very, very much, in my opinion, atheist friendly, agnostic oriented, Buddhist, whatever. I actually had a 12-step specifically for Buddhism when I was in rehab. They actually printed it out for me, but it was the same thing. It was the same fucking thing. It just said,
I'm not saying I don't understand that there's not differences in each individual one. I don't like how the overarching ideal is, hey, you have to do this to fix yourself. And I
understand it should be a thing where people on their own merit can stand up and do it.
Definitely.
Absolutely. I agree. I had this discussion with a guy in prison one time. He was saying the 12 steps don't work. And I said, no, they absolutely work. And he said, they don't work. I've done it like 5 times. They don't fucking work. I was working the steps and going to my meetings. They didn't work. And I said, the steps say that you actively refrain from using drugs and alcohol. Like if you followed all the steps, then you didn't get drunk or high. Like you slipped up on at least one of the steps. Like at its fundamental core, if the rules are don't drink and drug, no matter what else it says, you can't break that rule and then say it doesn't work. You drank and drugged. You know what I'm saying? That being said, man, I totally agree. People very much should. I think that people can get sober without AA. I think people can get sober without NA. I definitely believe that's possible. I think that working AA and NA is a tried and true, tested, proven method if you do need that type of help. If you're ready for that kind of help.
Completely agree with that. I think there are people that
But there are other ways, and they say there's not, Zach. I think I see what you're saying, because AA and NA says there's no other way. That's what they say. It's jails, institutions, or death, or AA. And that's just straight up not right, in my opinion. I think that people can very much do it. I don't go to meetings regularly anymore. I still got my bracelet, but
and again, like you were saying before, that's fear mongering, which they might be using as a tool. Like these churches.
They're trying to pull you into the churches. They're trying to get the money from you and everything else.
And also one thing about the needle swap and all that, I will say this, man. I
understand both sides of it.
I know y'all ain't never been a drug addict, dog, but sometimes it's better to just give them some needles, bro. Sometimes people ain't ready.
No, like I understand
that car alarm in your head for drugs, bro.
Helping them, but I also don't understand helping them. Like I can see that it's enabling the situation, but I can also understand where it genuinely helps them and makes them less of a problem on society. And it's like
they don't give them free needles; they do trade-ins. You know that, right?
It's only in my area. It's free needles.
Okay, well,
absolutely free needles. They give you free needles, free Narcan. And they try and enable the situation as much as they possibly can.
To be fair,
I also live in a very blue state.
I guess you can call it enabling. I'm an addict, bro. I don't see that as enabling. I see that as preparing for the inevitabilities of people not stopping drugs and overdosing.
I don't think that somebody who wants to do meth isn't going to do heroin because they don't have a clean needle. They're just going to use that dirty needle.
Exactly. Yeah. So they'll happily give them one to try and cut down on the future problems that it causes society when our entire homeless population ended up with AIDS.
I don't personally
understand that shit.
I don't personally necessarily agree with government funding. I think it should be more an a community foundation that funds for the health of the community, not an overarching government that doesn't know the individuals that they're working with and doesn't know what's best for them. But
I don't know about all that. All I know is that some people will respond to AA, some people don't need it, and I don't care who funds it. I mean, some people aren't ready for help, man. The first time that I went to rehab when I was 17, it was a fucking waste of time, bro. I needed to be in the free needles line. Metaphorically, I wasn't shooting, but like metaphorically speaking, where I was up here, I was still in the free needles line. It's just it's not tackling the same part of the problem, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying, man? That's why I feel compassionate about it, because I've been an addict. And sometimes, bro, you just want to stay your happy ass in the clean needles line. And when that time comes, then carry your ass over there to the AA, or carry your ass over to the next step or whatever, where you can get some other types of help. But I believe that, like Myth said, man, a shooter's going to shoot. They'll go dig one out of the dumpster if they have to. All that ends up doing at the end of the day is for less than 1 penny for you to give this dude a needle. Now there's a possibility that 700 people are going to get AIDS because this dude didn't have a clean needle.
That's what I'm saying. Action, Like, I understand the positives. I also understand the negatives. If you make something easier for somebody to do something, they're genuinely going to do it more.
Any system will be abused.
I'm not saying everybody that if they legalized heroin right now, everybody would go out and do it. But the people that are already doing it are going to do it more. They're just going to. It's how life is.
They're also going to get cleaner products and be able to, be more involved in society because they're not outcasts. But
less taboo.
And I'm sure both of you guys are this way. On this show, I'm a more exaggerated version of myself. Regardless if I feel that I am wrong or just like kind of in the not knowing, I'm going to exceed my point and kind of push it even farther for entertainment value.
And it makes for good discussions, in my opinion.
You don't understand podcasting. If you don't have both sides of it, you're getting one side, and you're
then
not.
It's a circle jerk.
Everybody's kind of ideal,
of course.
Also, somebody commented this, and I really kind of agree with it, and it kind of wraps up what we all said. Honestly, I think religious organizations just see addicts as easy gets. Stuff like AA has gotten a lot better with separation from the church over the years, though. It's obviously what we've already said, but kind of wraps it up neatly in a bow.
It's possible. Once again, obviously, I could comment on that, but I'd just go down a tangent.
It's the same shit that we've already repeated over and over and over again.
Well, I will say that there's a difference between seeing something as a quote-unquote easy get and seeing something that works if it affects them, which it doesn't affect everybody. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? When they know it works from their personal experience. I know to an atheist, it doesn't make any fucking sense, but I mean, it's like the first person that drank fucking aspirin, dog. The next guy that had a fever, I bet he tried to give him some of that aspirin. I bet he was like, hey, this bark that I ground up and boiled in this water made me feel a lot better. Why don't you try it? So, I mean, I don't think that guy saw him as an easy get. Now I can sell him all the bark on my tree and make more money. I think that it's a legitimate place to hurt people, to try and help people, not hurt them. But I also know that people don't view religious people that way. They see it as, oh, they're trying to spread the cult. So, you know, I see it.
Like, my final thoughts on this are that everything is not one big collective. Everything is a group of individuals, and these are tools that can be used and abused. And I think in multiple situations, you have what Josh is talking about, where they're being very good, and just there to help and not induct or use for personal gains. And in other circumstances, you do have that situation.
Very much so.
And it's just kind of generalized into one group because they all go under the same name.
Right. That's why I said, I mean, not necessarily in that case, because it definitely happens. And people also will be like, oh, look what a good Christian I am. I found an addict and I'm right. And it's all just for vanity purposes. You know,
there might be one person that is so overzealous and fucking perfect and could be like, religion helped me pull myself out. But there also could be 15 other people that lead that entire congregation. That's like, okay, we're having a pandemic right now in this area. If we start AA, we'll have more people in the seats on Sunday.
Very well.
And yes, there's going to be a lot of that stuff on both sides. And there's positives and negatives to everything, which is why you have the conversation so that way you can expand thought and expand the way people actually explore the world and their own thoughts. So that way they're able to do better. They're able to explore what the hell's going on with the world. Because if you don't have the conversation, you're never going to expand your mind. You're never going to make yourself a better person. Because regardless if there's religion or not, there's a fucking reason we're here. And I know at some point I'm going to make a fucking mark big enough on this world so that way people know who the fuck I am.
Damn right.
And hopefully that's positive enough so that way people can actually do better by what I set forward, regardless if I believe in religion or not.
Even if that's just an example for the people to live on after you.
Exactly. So we've been closing out every single episode with a story. After we've gone on an hour tangent about religion and everything else, how far back with my neck surgery would you like me to go?
Good grief. Is it that long of an endeavor?
It was 3 years.
Let's keep it to the TLDR for the end.
Okay. So I'll go from the night before. So originally I was told that the surgery was going to be about a 75% success rate of me having symptoms and problems afterwards, whether that's something as small as just having neurological issues because of the surgery or having all of my symptoms plus because things got fucked up. Right. I ended up having problems to the point where I have everything still fucked up and I have more problems and headaches and migraines than I did before. So when they also told me it was like a 75-80% chance that I live. Damn. Because I'm having neck surgery.
It's not a very good percentage.
Yeah. That's not something you want to be told when your wife is pregnant and sitting right next to you. Last thing you want to be told is that you have a 20% chance of dying. So I wrote essentially 2 suicide notes. Well, death notes of like, hey, I care about you. I love you. So that way my kids knew that I cared about them and loved them. I wrote one to my mom. At that point, very angry, telling her to go fuck herself because she never called. Because she didn't know. And I couldn't sleep that night. I was so fucking anxious. I had to be up at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning anyway to go and drive an hour to go get ready for surgery. So before my surgery, I saw these things. I don't remember if it was my wife sent it to me as a joke from Pinterest or if it was on Facebook, but somebody made their rib into a necklace. And I was like, that's a really, really cool, genuine idea. I like that whole like missing rib kind of thing. It's like an Achilles heel, essentially.
Yeah.
Because if I'm punched in the neck or the chest, there's a good chance I die. Would love to do combat sports. I can't. Because I genuinely could die.
He can literally get punched to death.
Yeah. My carotid is completely open to be hit. My lung on this side is completely open. Like genuine problems.
Stay tuned for mine and Zach's YouTube boxing match.
Exactly.
Let's go. It's murder charge.
So we get into pre-op and I was like, you know what? I'm going to ask him to save my rib. give it to me in a little glass jar, a baggie, whatever. Because I want the fucking necklace. I like the
Hell
fucking
yeah.
idea of it. Like,
I would have wanted it.
you go in the world with everything, you want to go out of the world with everything. Like, nobody's fucking getting anything from me. I leave everything. It's all mine. So I have the surgery. They shoot me up with fentanyl and calm me down because I'm sitting there fucking having an anxiety attack.
Good God, fentanyl.
Yeah. They give me every
used
single
in
fucking
hospitals.
IV medication that they possibly can to just get me to calm down. I get all the way into the fucking OR. My doctor comes in. He's like, Zach, how the hell are you doing? I remember telling him, I don't even know where I am, man. I just, you better get me through this because I have a baby that's coming and I need to take care of her. I really want my, and that's the last thing I fucking remember. And he walked away and everything went black.
Didn't even get a chance to tell him, man.
So I come out of surgery. Everything's successful.
My rib! Wait, my rib!
And the only thing I could ask for my entire recovery time, and I don't remember any of this, was I do remember the apple juice. I remember asking for apple juice and my wife, because those were the only two things I wanted. I just wanted to know I was okay. I wanted a drink, and they gave me the options of cranberry juice, orange juice, apple juice, or water. And I was like, apple juice is by far the best choice out of all of those.
You gotta pick cranberry juice in that situation.
Bro, that's a bunch of hard choices for me.
Apple
I'm gonna just
juice
go with water. Yo, fuck it.
Apple juice is by far the best choice out of all of those. And so I fall back asleep at that point. I literally, the last thing I remember is my wife about like quarter of a mile away from me walking up, and like I could see her, just not super fucking close. So at some point they roll me up into my room. And they're like, well, at some point we can get these things off your leg. We can start getting you up and moving and everything else. And I'm like, that. But they're like, you got to wait like 30, 40 minutes before you eat. I was like, the fuck? And they're like, well, that's the first step, is getting all this shit off of you, is you have to get up and piss and you have to eat. So they hand me this menu and I was like, I don't want anything on this fucking menu.
Hell no, hospital food.
Yeah, it's
and you're on
terrible.
painkillers already.
I want a barbecue chicken sandwich with fucking tater tots. And I don't fucking like tater tots, and I have no idea why the fuck I asked for them.
You were delirious as hell, dog.
So they bring up this fucking
You have against
grilled
tater
piece of
tots.
chicken with barbecue sauce slathered over it. It was a barbecue chicken sandwich and tater tots. I eat like 4 tater tots. And I can't even remember how much time passes. They're like, okay, you eaten. Now you can get up and go to the bathroom. So they bring me to the bathroom.
Now you can.
Yeah. Because I was able to actually start doing human functions, which was nice.
Yeah.
By the time I sat down from pissing back on my bed that wasn't even fully fucking inflated in this bullshit fucking hospital, I was like, I don't fucking feel good.
Big surprise, tater tot.
And I turned, and before this fucking nurse, who was a male, could grab a bag or a garbage can for me to throw up in, I covered half the floor in 4 fucking tater tots.
A bunch of stomach acid and tater tots. You ain't never seen so much 4 tater tots in your fucking life.
You know what?
Tater
I guess
tots.
the rest of the story, you'll